The River State crisis between Nyesom Wike and his godson, Governor Simi Fubara, has been settled thanks to President Bola Tinubu. This man is doing wonders. As the father of the nation, sorry, I missed one word there. What is that? What is that word? Oh, I got it. As the father of the rogue nation.
Today, most of them have never dreamt in their life that they will ever get to the peak of their career. That is very, very important. Not just the infrastructure every day. So if you permit me, I don't know those beneficiaries, the permanent secretaries, I don't know where they are here. Come out, so that you come out. You are the beneficiary, come out. You are supposed to be the agent of really hope, but come out. Both women, both men, everyone. First year and take a bow before Mr. President, the lucky ones. Your Excellency, these are the first set of permanent secretaries that you made. Head of service, are you not the permanent secretary? And that is their head of service. Your Excellency, these are the technical team now that we have. So I want to sincerely thank you. Now, most of them have been going to churches and mosques. They have been praying now that God should help them to be head of service. But it was not there before. For them to be head of service, it was not available. But now you have made it available. I know some of their pastors who have been praying for them. So I also told them that they should pray for me to recommend them to you. That is also very important. Your Excellency, this road was awarded in 2020. In fact, this is the fastest. It was awarded in 2020, not the one that was awarded 15 years ago, 16 years ago. It was awarded in 2020 at the cost of 30.6 billion. And luckily, this is the one that we have never had variation. So when we came on board here, and I thank the managing director of Kilmore, I think I've been here not less than 10 times to inspect this road. I've been here not less than 10 times. What touches me was there was one old man, either an Indian or Lebanese, not around almost 90 years. Each time we come here, you will see the old man. I think somewhere there. And what is problem? He said, look, he's already trying to pack out. That he doesn't know whether really we are sure that we are going to complete this road. He has a business center, about 3-4 floors, a front there. Each time we come here, the man will come out. Today, most of them have never
a tough man. I used to be until I met you and realized that troublemaker get level. Because somebody will know they tire and say you will fight you. You have to find solution to your problem. So I made up my mind. It is better to be with you than to be against you. A lot of us here, we don't know when to stop and align yourself. The Englishman says if you can't beat them, you join them. It's a very good advice. Me, I join you. I'm with you. And that will be the basis of my advice for the new governor. The last 4 years was rather a tough experience of my life because I didn't have a successor. Let me tell you today, Governor Wike and Governor Fubara, this plane you want to start flying now, I flew that plane before you by the grace of this man. So now you enter, His Excellency is coming. I flew that place from Akure, 7 p.m. I'm in Port Harcourt. Mommy is a witness. I want to say to you, sir, you came in with the hands of God. You are a miracle governor. Today, you are Governor River State. My brother, the day your eyes begin to see, you will miss road. Close your eyes completely. Maybe if I have a godfather, I won't have problem. Maybe if I have a godfather like our father here and Wike, I will not have problem. I didn't have one. They oppressed me, they show me pepper. The moment your eyes begin to see in this government, you will have problem. Oh. Close your eyes. Those windows, if you can close door, close it. For you to have eternal peace in your, I don't know, but let me say your 8 years. The way you will use the 8 years is in your hand. Adam and Eve.
Let me say, God is infinite mercy. God will continue to bless all of you. Ordinarily, I don't like things like this. But I said I will come. When I heard some people say I will not come here, I said I will come here. And I said this occasion must go on. Who them be? How many them they?
Yeah. How many them they? Why we don't go in them? How many them they?
Now let me tell you something.
I hope that Nigeria wins. I'm never going to wish any president evil so that I can say I told you so. No, I won't wish them evil. I hope. You see, I'm not praying. There's no point. I can't pray for Nigeria to be fine. I only hope that Nigeria wins and Nigerians win. Because if you choose a dodgy doctor who has a dodgy record, who has, all sort of accusations leveled against him, to say this doctor, we think he's done this, or this doctor, this surgeon, yes, he's a senior surgeon, he's the most whatever surgeon, but there are a lot of accusations leveled against him. If you choose him to operate on you, and you tell me to pray for you that it doesn't kill you surgery, what's the point? I can't pray. You might make it, you might not make it. My prayer won't change anything. So I hope Nigeria and Nigerians win during Tinubu's 4 years. Thank you.
And I am ready to die defending Nigeria in whatever way. When it is God's time for us to go, it is
and you
not
took my
going
time to God. You are ready to defend Nigeria. I gave you my time.
No, I'm coming.
Alexi, hold on. You already started.
What I'm saying, defending Nigerians is this.
I gave him my time and he's using it to defend me.
No, sorry. I'm sorry.
Alexi.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I don't know what is wrong with them all. Hey, don't know what is wrong with them. Somebody asking for where you do your course and you are sure you did your course there. I agree with you. But a lot of what we hear, because you didn't hear this direct from Tinubu, because lawyers are very funny. Sometimes lawyers will say, you must not say this. I mean, you know what is happening to Donald Trump right now? Donald Trump that guy is walking himself to jail. And he's coming down to say that, it was my lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said that you should march people to the capital and stage a coup. People said coup in Nigeria. They never live to tell the story. That's what I tell them. They never live to tell the story. They are summarily tried within a short time and sent to jail or made to face the firing squad. That is the way it works. But it's only in America where somebody put a gun to your head and you say, all right, you are quoting the First Amendment right. What is First Amendment right? What is it? I don't understand. So I don't know why he's denying Atiku the chance to go there, because the news media, they tell a lot of lies. things that are not true. I knew this man went to Chicago State University. I knew that. I won't like it.
Don't forget, that state is now an oil producing state. So they now have derivation, if you are not aware. So if you want to speak for anybody, please do not defend a Kalata like a Yabelo. Please do not.
Okay, let me
You can
respond
speak
to
for
him
anybody,
one
but
second.
do not defend a Kalata like a Yabelo. Do not.
All right, thank you, Mohammed.
The people of that state.
Can I respond to him?
No.
Then go to hell. Rudolph, go to hell.
All right.
Rudolph, I've never seen this part of him before. My God.
Tinubu is a criminal, yes, of course, a categorical grade 1 criminal. The only person more criminal than Tinubu in Nigeria is probably Babangida. But he's a criminal, and is he fit for purpose? Absolutely not. Should Tinubu be the president of Nigeria? Categorical no. Is there a better option than him? That is subjective. So show me who he is.
Fellow Nigerians, I feel greatly disturbed at the tone we have come to regarding the political crisis in Rivers State. Like many of you, I have watched with concern the development, with hope that the parties involved will allow good sense to prevail at the soonest. But all that hope borne out without any solution to the crisis. With the crisis persisting, there's no way democratic governance, which we all fought and worked for over the years, can thrive in a way that will redound to the benefit of the good people of the state. The state has been at a standstill since the crisis started, with the good people of the state not being able to have access to the dividend of democracy. Also, it is public knowledge that the governor of Rivers State, for unjustifiable reasons, demolished the House of Assembly of the state as far back as 13th December 2023, and as up till now, 14 months after, now rebuilt the same. I have made personal interventions between the contending parties for a peaceful resolution of this crisis, but my efforts have been largely ignored by the parties to the crisis. I'm also aware that many well-meaning Nigerians, leaders of thought, and patriotic groups have also intervened at various times with the best of intentions to resolve the matter, but all their efforts were also to no avail. Still, I thank them. On February 28, 2025, the Supreme Court, in a judgment in respect to all about 8 consolidated appeals concerning the political crisis in Rivers State, based on several grave unconstitutional acts and the disregard of the rule of law that has been committed by the governor of Rivers State, as shown by the evidence before it, pronounced in very clear terms. And I quote, "A government cannot be said to exist without one of the 3 arms that make up of the government of a state under the 1999 Constitution as amended." In this case, the head of the executive arm of the government has chosen to collapse the legislature to enable him to govern without the legislature as a despot. As it is, there's no government in Rivers State, and I quote. The above pronouncement came after a catalog of judicial findings of constitutional breaches against Governor Simi Fubara. Going forward in their judgment, having found and held that 27 members of the House who had allegedly deflected, and I quote, are still valid members of Rivers State House of Assembly and cannot be prevented from participating in proceedings of that House by the 8th respondent, that is the governor, in cohort with 4 members, and unquote. The Supreme Court then made some orders to restore the state to immediate constitutional democracy. These orders include the immediate passing of an appropriation bill by the Rivers State House of Assembly, which up to now has not been facilitated. Some militants had threatened fire and brimstone against their perceived enemies of the governor, who has up to now not disowned them. Apart from that, both the House and the governor have not been able to work together. Both of them do not realize that they are in office to work together for the peace and good governance of the state. The latest security report made available to me show that between yesterday and today, there have been disturbing incidents of vandalization of pipelines by some militants without governor taking any action to curtail them. I have, of course, given stand order to the security agencies to ensure safety of lives of good people of Rivers State and the oil pipelines. With all this and many more, no good and responsible president will stand by and allow the grave situation to continue without taking remedial steps prescribed by the Constitution to address the situation in the state, which no doubt requires extraordinary measures to restore good governance, peace, order, and security. In these circumstances, having soberly reflected on and evaluated the political situation in Rivers State, and the governor and deputy governor of Rivers State, having failed to make a request to me as president to issue this proclamation as required by Section 305, Paragraph 5 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it has become inevitably compelling for me to invoke the provision of the Section 305 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State with effect from today, 18th March, year 2025, and I so do. By this declaration, the governor of Rivers State, Mr. Simi Fubara, his deputy, Mrs. Ngozi Odu, and all elected members of the House of Assembly state are hereby suspended for an initial period of 6 months. In the meantime, I hereby nominate Vice Admiral Ibokette Ibas retired as administrator to take charge of the affairs of the state and the interests of the good people of Rivers State. For the avoidance of doubt, this declaration does not affect the judicial arm of Rivers State, which shall continue to function in accordance with their constitutional mandate. The administrator will not make any new laws. He will, however, be free to formulate regulations and may be found necessary to do his job, but such regulations will need to be considered and approved by the Federal Executive Council and promoted by the President for the state. This declaration has been published in the Federal Gazette, a copy of which has been forwarded to the National Assembly in accordance with the Constitution. It is my fervent hope that this inevitable intervention will help to restore peace and order in Rivers State by awakening all the contenders to the constitutional imperatives, binding on all political players in the Rivers State in particular and Nigeria as a whole. Long live a united, peaceful, secured, and democratic Rivers State in particular, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria as a whole. God bless you all for listening. Thank you.
Do you have old pictures on your PC or smartphone? Then this video is for you. Nobody believes.
Good evening. Welcome to this special edition of Have Your Say 247. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. It's 6:24 p.m. here in New York. I'm sure it's 11:24 p.m. in Nigeria. The stories out of Nigeria made us to start this special broadcast to talk about what happened today in Abuja and Rivers State. You just watched President Bola Tinubu speak to the nation. I think it was a live broadcast, and he spoke about the situation in Rivers State. That he has declared a state of emergency, suspended the governor and the deputy, and appointed an administrator, a retired army officer, to lead the state for 6 months, initial 6 months. After that, they will decide what else to do. So that's the situation in the country. The report I'm getting this evening out of Rivers State is that there are several movements of military personnel. Naval officer, I'm being reminded it's a naval officer who is in charge of Rivers State now for the first 6 months. And I'm getting reports that the situation is tense in the state. There are military personnel trying to gain control of the state, where we had the militants have started to destroy pipelines in the state. Now, just last week, we were talking about the Wike's threat that the governor is not beyond impeachment. But instead of impeaching the governor, they decided to move in a different direction, which is to declare a state of emergency. And it did not just end there, because you remember that in the past, presidents have declared state of emergency, but it didn't lead to the removal of the governor. I think the last person that did that was Obasanjo. So that changes everything. The fight for 2027 is real for those who do not understand what is behind this move. Is the realization that It's a real fight over who takes over the country in the next election. So, incidentally, it was surprising to me that he did not mention Wike in his speech, not once. He did not say the other party. He just talked about the state assembly and the governor, but it's beyond that, which is interesting. So I want to hear your views on what is going on. That's why we opened this special edition of Have Your Say 247. We've shared the link. If you want to join us to have this conversation, you're welcome to join us at this moment. But it's going to be quite interesting as we move on to see how because there's action and there's reaction, how people react to this, whether people are going to accept this new arrangement, and what that says to governors, other governors in other states where there are crises, and what that means for the next president after Tinubu, whenever that is. Because presidents might assume powers, and today might be the president you like, acting in a place that you do not like, and tomorrow you might be a president you do not like, acting in a place that you like. So it's bigger than just this incident. So our democracy is on the line. Every step like this is really a serious step for the president, Tinubu, to think this is the best step to take at this time. It's quite interesting. So that's the conversation we want to have, and we welcome you all to join us. This is just the beginning, and you'll be hearing more about this, definitely. For me, one of the interesting things to think about is that you cannot, the government of Nigeria is already fighting a war, not a war, multiple wars on multiple fronts in Northeast, Northwest, North Central, and they are basically opening a new front, which is the South, the Niger Delta region. We wish the president the best, and we wish the country the best for those of us who are not there. But I can tell you that tomorrow is a different day, different from yesterday, different from today. All right, let's take a break. And when we come back, we let people in. If you're in the studio, I see some people in the studio. If you're in and you want to join the conversation, please turn on your camera. Let's see you. Then we'll let you in. But it's going to be brief. We're not going to stay here for a long time, but we want to get your views on what is going on. We can wait until weekend to intervene in this. This is really a serious issue. And of course, we are hearing and we are seeing pictures that show that this is really the handwork of Wike in every ramification. And so we're going to talk about this in detail. So I want to hear from you. I have made up my mind that this is significant, and that's why we open this platform today. Thank you for watching.
I used to be a tough man. I used to be, until I met you and realized that troublemaker get level. Because somebody will know they tire and say you will fight you. You have to find solution to your problem. So I made up my mind. It is better to be with you than to be against you. A lot of us here, we don't know when to stop and align yourself. The Englishman says if you can't beat them, you join them. It's a very good advice. Me, I join you. I'm with you. And that will be the basis of my advice for the new governor. The last 4 years was rather a tough experience of my life because I didn't have a successor. Let me tell you today, Governor Wike and Governor Fubara, this plane you want to start flying now, I flew that plane before you by the grace of this man. This plane, tomorrow night you enter, His Excellency is coming. I flew that plane from Akure, 7 p.m. I'm in Port Harcourt. Mommy is a witness. I want to say to you, sir, you came in with the hands of God. You are a miracle governor. Today, you are Governor of Rivers State. My brother, the day your eyes begin to see, you will miss road. Close your eyes completely. Maybe if I have a godfather, I won't have problem. Maybe if I have a godfather like our father here and Wike, I will not have problem. I didn't have one. They oppressed me, they show me pepper. The moment your eyes begin to see in this government, you will have problem. Oh. Close your eyes. Those windows, if you can close them, close it. For you to have eternal peace in your, I don't know, but let me say your 8 years. The way you will use the 8 years is in your hand. Adam and Eve, the very day Adam began to rationalize God's word, Adam, the very day he rationalized God's word, Adam realized, I am now a man with a wife. He entered gutter. He entered trouble. Sir, may God help you, Your Excellency. My counsel is to you. God will help you. Don't see more than what you are supposed to see. The moment you want to see more than you are supposed to see, you begin to see spirit. Oh. I know Wike. Oh. I know Wike. Oh. Now, if he say he will fight you, it's either you surrender or you look for that trouble to the end. God will not find you Wike's problem. Oh. He has found you Wike's favor. Remain in God's favor and Wike's favor. God bless you.
Everybody, I see a few people who are here, and let's bring people in and begin the conversation. Ike, welcome to the show.
Good evening, Dr. Damages from here.
How are you?
Thank God I'm alive today.
You're alive to see this wonderful day in Nigeria.
Yes.
All right. Comrade Omori, welcome to the show. Omori, can you hear me? Omori. Okay, Omori cannot hear me. We can see him, but he cannot hear me. Okay, Ike. So where did you hear the news? I was busy living my life. I didn't know I would be doing a show on on the Tuesday. And people started sending me messages that the world is coming to an end. I'm like, what's going on? The River State is burning and the world is coming to an end. I said, okay, let me check. So what's going on?
I was, good evening, everybody, from the beautiful island of Bonaire. I was still in my place of work. I was reading an article of where Obasanjo visited Fubara, and he was telling him what he need to do. Withdraw the security personnel from the members of the National Assembly. You are the governor of the state. Take control of your state. Do what you got to do to secure the state. That was what I was reading, and all of a sudden I saw a breaking news where your illegitimate president was to address Nigeria, and I didn't listen because I only know the caption that was about River State. Before he started reading, there was a lot of news online already about what's taking place. So my brother is I don't really know where to start or what to say, but the video you just played now, it is what it is. But also, I think that I don't know what will I say. Is it a legitimate or an elected government, a democratic setting, in a democratic process and a democratic setting? So a president is declaring a state of emergency in a state where somebody was elected by his people, whether he came through the back door or whatever, anyhow he come, because all politicians in Nigeria, 99.5%, they go through the back door. And the president, I don't know the power that he has to do that. I am not a constitutional lawyer. I'm not, but as a human being, I think that it is a decision reached too far. But if there is anything that will happen in the country, Dr. Damages, I am going to put 99 and 99.5% of that blame on the seat of the Supreme Court judges, who they are the people that put this state or Nigeria in this place they are. Because the first decision they were supposed to make, they left it behind. What is the first decision? By confirming that these people has already decamped to another political party. But no, because Wike has bought over the judiciary. They left it pending, and they interpreted something else where we are today. So if there is fire burning in Nigeria today or in River State, I am holding the people of the Supreme Court accountable to what is going on in Nigeria. And also, personally, for me, I know that there was never a time Tinubu was making peace in River State. He has always shown what he wants. But this time he did it. Like as he grab it, steal it, and run with it. But this time around, through the back door. He has taken over River State. That has always been his plan. That has always been his dream. That has always been what he wanted. And when you listen to the address today, he was blaming Fubara in everything. And he left his friend, Wike. So, at the end of the day, I think that the people of River State, I'm more expecting the people of the Ijaw nation, if they should allow this to slide, well, it's just the beginning, because this is the roadmap to 2027. So every one of us should be concerned about where Nigeria is going to go from now to 2027. I rest my case for now.
All right, thank you, Ike. The flagship. I don't know if you can hear me. State of emergency in River State. We've had one in Plateau. We've had one in Yobe, in Ekiti, in Borno, in Adamawa, but only the one in Plateau under Obasanjo in 2024. That we had actually two of them under Obasanjo 2024. We had the governor removed in Ekiti. When Fayose was impeached, we had a retired brigadier general appointed administrator until the situation stabilized. What's your take?
Well, good evening, Rudolph, and good evening, Mr. Ike, and everybody else here.
You know, I was just minding my day where I started getting these WhatsApp messages. A friend of mine who lives in Port Harcourt was telling me of what is going on. You know, this is what I have to say. You know, people think that this is about votes for 2027. I beg to differ. I don't think it is. It has nothing to do with the elections. Neither does it have anything to do with turning Rivers State to APC state. Based on the way things are going and the dynamics right now, well, Tinubu doesn't need the votes of Rivers people to get back into power in 2027 if that's his goal or ambition. This is about the resources of Rivers State. All right, he wants it. It's a personal goal. He wants to get it. He wants to own it. If not all of it, at least a good share of it. And maybe pacify Wike with something, you know, and he'd move on. So it's not about votes. From all that I've been gathering on the ground, it has nothing to do with 2027 elections. It's just how he can lay hold of those pipelines. And the game plan is a lot of those oil wells, the man is trying to take them away from whoever IBB assigned them to during his day, or whoever has those wells, Dantata and the rest of them. That's his game plan. That's Tinubu's plan. So it's not election. If it's election is conquered already. He has 2027 if he stays alive till that time. I see today's event as the cost of keeping Wike and letting go of Rivers State. If you ask me to give it a title, that's what I will do. You're right, he didn't mention Wike in his speech. He said nothing about him at all. That tells you everything that we need to know, that this whole thing is a game plan. And the guy that he put there, the administrator right now, is one of Wike's very close friends. Impeaching Fubara was not going to work because the Attorney General is there. There's nothing they could do to ask the Attorney General. You know, this falsification of age that they're trying to come up with was not going to fly in any way because the man was duly assessed before he got into office. So this is plan B for him. You know, throw the thing off balance. If anything goes wrong, we'll bring this guy in. Don't forget, yesterday, before this whole thing started, they had a meeting with the defense chiefs. Fabio was there, and I think a few others were there too. And the question was, and it was a closed-door meeting. What was discussed? Why was he having a meeting with the top security chiefs in the country? And was there something that was about to happen? What does he know that we don't know about, or the press doesn't know about yet? So when it happened today that they said oil pipelines were blown, and then automatically he's getting an administrator, it kind of makes sense why that meeting was held. They already have this plan. Section 305 that he's talking about, if you go back to read it, he needs to get a considerable amount of the House before he can pass any state of emergency. Does he even have the right to do that now? Is a question that we're asking. Without any consultation with the Senate or the House generally, how can he just automatically declare state of emergency and think that Fubara, who has, by the way, complied with every instruction that he's been given, because Fubara at this point is already conquered and defeated, and Fubara has agreed to do whatever they say, recall those guys back, and he's going to play the game like they want it. But the point is, they really want him out of there so that he can get what he wants. Now we need to be looking at the other side of the curtain. Whatever is going to happen between now and 6 months, this duration that he put, if the people continues to fight, which I think they will, because Yar'Adua did not succeed. I'm from that part of the country. I have roots on that side too. It wasn't easy for Yar'Adua. Amnesty was a way out. So if they think that this time is going to be easy, even if they pack all the soldiers from the north and bring them down here, plus what do you call them? For lack of a better word, retrained or rehabilitated Boko Haram guys that they have, and bring them down to the creeks they still cannot defeat those boys. It's a big, big mistake that he's made. It's going to jeopardize the oil production for the country, which is the main thing that the country survives on right now. And don't forget, you see, these investors, those that deal with us in our oil, they're not going to sit down and wait for him to resolve the conflict in that region in 6 months and keep their money and waiting. They will go somewhere else. And you know what that means for the nation? Reduce revenue. Nigerians are just going, it's going to cripple the whole place. When Yar'Adua tried to do this and the boys in the creek acted, remember back then, oil production in a day dropped from 2-point-something million barrels to about 400,000. And you and I know that he dropped Nigeria, put Nigeria in recession. So if that's what he wants to do, these guys are, at this point, already the nation is in a very angry state where everybody's like biting their fingers just to feed themselves. It's not like that time when they had more than enough. So we really need to figure this thing out. There is a solution out of this whole mess and these claws that these guys have dipped their hands into Nigeria. There's a solution. We just haven't figured it out yet. We're going to keep working on it and come up with a solution on how to get this country out of these guys' hands.
All right, thank you so much, Flagship. Before I come to you, Chim, let me just show you 15 seconds or 25 seconds video I got from Port Harcourt this evening. All right, so obviously there is display of military power in Port Harcourt, and we don't know what that means, what ideas that might put into the minds of some proper military people. All right, let's go to Chim. Chim, you're next.
Yeah, thanks, Rudolph. What an interesting day, like you rightly said earlier on. You know, there's a saying that it's easy to give a monkey a cup of palm wine or even a cup of water. That's very easy to do. The difficulty is in getting the cup back from that monkey. That's where you have problems. And I'm going to disagree slightly with Flagship. Flagship is about elections. And good luck to the Niger Delta boys trying. That's why I said I made that proverb. It's easy to give a monkey a cup of palm wine, but to collect that cup, you're giving him the palm wine, or he has drank the palm wine, but to collect the cup from him is where there's going to be a big problem. Towards the run-up to this presidency, 2 years ago, I had a battle with some people over the candidacy of this man. And I said, I don't have anything against him as a person, but having followed his type of politics, the guy is a tout fighter. He's not Jonathan. This is not even Buhari, because Buhari, had some negative togas around him, which he knew. So he was struggling to prove to people that he was a Democrat. He was not a bigot. He tried, even though there were still things he did, but he tried, which is why he insisted that Tinubu wouldn't be his deputy when Tinubu was pushing to be the deputy, and he refused. He said, no, it would be too obvious, two of us Muslims. There were certain no-go areas for Buhari. There's no go, there's nothing this man is not going to push. You see this president? There is no button he will not push. And he's a very arrogant person. In case people don't know who they're dealing with, you're dealing with somebody who, if anybody remembers the proverb that the late Ibadan man, the Baba, what's that man's name? Show if you remember the Baba in Ibadan. Adedibu asked on plain national TV, asked the guy who his godson, that can you fight Rofo on the street? And this is the kind of referral for people we're talking about. That's the person people have given the key to Aso Rock. People don't know who they've given the key to Aso Rock. There is no button this man will not push. He knows it's illegal. This is somebody who told you he's a Democrat, but he has broken every non-democratic rule. He has. Is it to snatch it? Open TV told you he will snatch it. He will run with it. He said it and he did it, and nothing happened. He has put his National Assembly in his pocket. He has put his guy there. He has put his person from Lagos as the Chief Justice of the Federation. Nothing has happened. Is it to remove Fubara? Nothing will happen. He has done it, and nothing is going to happen. The worst that can happen is skirmishes or crisis happen, and he will ignore it. When Flagship says it's the resources of River State, which resources of River State? The man has resources of Nigeria. You're talking about resources of River State. The resources of River State is a subset of the resources of Nigeria, and it's under his control. If he wants to take away anybody's what's it called? Anybody's oil well, he can do it. He's already the president. It's under his control. So those are not the issues. The issue is, peradventure, somehow they do this election and they start telling him figures don't tally. That's what the guy, his friend, has told him. Remember how I controlled River State for you? Don't give it any chance. River State is a significant, after your Lagos, River State, you don't want a situation where somehow whoever is going to run INEC will try to be objective. You don't get the Lagos, you don't get the rivers, you're done. No. You had better allow me get this River State. If I don't get this River State, forget it. And he says, 2027 is important to him. He will do anything. He's the president. He will silence anybody, do it whichever way he wants to do it. And hell will not, in fact, the heavens won't fall. So I only hope that there will be some clear-headed, because guess what? He has an attorney general that people are praising and saying is a good son. Why is this attorney general not advising him? And Rudolph, remember the question I asked our guest 2 weeks ago? Do you perchance whisper in his ears to remember his so-called democratic credentials that this man touted? I've been following Tinubu's politics since he was governor of Lagos State. The way he dealt with Kufureji in Lagos, dealt with Pedro. It's literally controlled. This is a man who walked into Fashola's cabinet meeting and said he wanted to sit in the meeting. And why are you sitting in the meeting? He says the issue of discussion for that day was of interest to him. It happened. I'm not making this story up. So if he could do all those things in Lagos, we saw how he took for presidential jet and flew. How many members of the House of State Assembly to Abuja? Is it to remove Fubara? That's it. I feel sorry for Fubara actually, because he's gone. He's gone. These people can decide to keep 6 months. You will continue to elongate it until elections come and have control of the place. So I don't know how we're going to get that key back from him or that cup from him. It's going to be a difficult one. Good luck to Nigerians, which I also am. I'm a Nigerian, so good luck to all of us. We'll enjoy the president that we have put in there and enjoy his democratic credentials. It's shocking that this is happening in 2025 from a man who claimed to be a Democrat. An apostle of June 12th is the one doing all these things. I will end there for now until the conversation continues. I was just laughing all through today when this was happening. I want to see the faces of people like Asai Dokubo. I actually want to see what he will do. Because these are people who said that we should hold them accountable if Tinubu starts misbehaving. Is that not what he told us? Yeah. So it's time to hold him accountable. So that's all I want to say for now.
All right. Thank you, Tim. Desta. Hi. You're muted. Where were you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Damages. It's kind of interesting what's happening in Nigeria, but I think it's good what's happening. It's good for us. It's good for our history, and it's good we document it down and write it and tell the stories and don't stop telling the stories so that we won't come back to this place where we are. I kind of agree with Flagship in the idea that it is the resources of River State that is at stake. It's not. I kind of agree with him. Yes, he wants River State, but He doesn't need Rivers State to win an election in theory. He can get his votes from other places. But the resources of Rivers State, the resources of the Niger Delta is what is at stake. The statement that Flagship made about redistribution of wealth, I think that is part of because there's no other logical reason. I don't see any.
But hold on, Desta, how is Fubara stopping him from doing that?
So his hatchet man in that job, his hatchet man for the job is Wike. Tinubu is like a mafia. Tinubu operates like a mafia, like the guy. If you watch Godfather, so he's like the Godfather, and then he has his hatchet man, Wike. Fubara has no bearing. Tinubu doesn't care about Fubara. Fubara is just a stooge in the whole thing. They expect Fubara. If you listen to what he said, he has told him that he needs to, something to conquer. But Fubara should behave the way all the other Lagos governors have behaved. I mean, see the way they humbled Sanwo-Olu recently. That's what he's expecting. And then Wike is supposed to reign supreme. Whatever resources Wike needs from Rivers State, he gets it. And that's Tinubu's concern. So that's the deal. We have to look at it in the sense like this is like a mafia system. If you follow the election, closely, when Wike was hobnobbing with different politicians, when Tinubu came to see him, when Tinubu came to Rivers State, it was only in Rivers State that you saw Wike receive the president in his cabinet. And Tinubu was saying, I don't really know Wike negotiated what he wanted. And the way Wike has behaved, Tinubu has you have seen somebody that is having a very strong power. And so instead of pushing, so Tinubu has weighed it. This guy, I better keep Wike. I better keep Wike with the power he's wielding. I would rather keep him. The same way you have the guys that were running Lagos NRTW. That's the kind of hegemony that Tinubu is operating on. But it's good for us. It's good for us as a nation. You know why? We are people who suffer from amnesia. We forget. You have people who were supporting this president. These people know this man is a Democrat. When we elect people with questionable character, and we're expecting them to behave like civilized people, then we should actually start questioning our consciousness. We have somebody, El Rufai recently said that they knew about Tinubu's shenanigans. Think about it. That's a country that has people that are sane. Professors will elect Buhari and say he's our savior. Then tomorrow, the consequences come out, you start crying. No. We deserve these things and it needs to be written down in our history. So that tomorrow somebody will not say, oh, because he's my brother, but he's a drug dealer. Oh, he's my brother, but he's a murderer. And because of that, you will now still compromise. In the Western world today, one small allegation on your name, allegation that has not even been, maybe it is just 80% substantiated, you will leave the office.
This side, we don't say that anymore. We have Trump as president. So minus America. Just say minus America.
Yes, minus America. Minus America. Okay. But you can still, at least you still have the level of sanity. Okay, even when that America, there's this guy that was going for this senator. There was a senator that was going for a particular position, and they had some things on him, and he had to step down. But in Nigeria, it doesn't matter. You have people of questionable character, all are later than some of us here will even be praising them. Some of us here will come and be singing the praises because Nigeria is turn by turn limited. Some of us here are saying against Tinubu because it's not our turn. When it's our turn now, we would change mouth and start supporting whoever it is. That is generally the way we Nigerians go about it. So I don't think there's any. I think it's good for our democracy. It's good for our civilization. We will learn from it. Next time around, we will not employ characters like Wike. Some of us will not. There were some people here that were praising Wike before now. But there are not some people here that were jubilating and supporting a man that is not democratic in any way. But they were supporting him. So we'll start reassessing, and our children, we should write it down in history so that our children will make informed decisions. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dexter. Sure.
Good evening, Dr. Damages, and good evening, gentlemen. Also, shout out to the guys in the comment section. I can see that it's popping off already in the comment section. Try to make some notes because these days I forget things. I don't know. It's nothing to do with age. I'm a very young, vibrant one, but I just forget things. Half of the time I drop off shows and I'm like, oh my God, I was going to say that. How did I forget? So I've made some bullet points as reminders. Okay, so I'm going to be jumping around a lot, but just pardon me. Before I start, Rudolph, with your permission, want to play one or two videos, short videos, and share an image as well, because politics is quite funny. If you follow it keenly, you would see a lot of things and you just be like, okay, we've been there before. Or if you watch Trump, for instance, during his first tenure, he would say things that he would never do or disagrees with. And people who don't like him on the left media would play a clip and you're like, oh, how is this possible? So this is something that Wike said a while ago when Ambode was having his issue with his own godfather in 2015, I believe it was. So that's Wike advising Ambode to resist his own godfather. And, obviously, how that ended. Ambode, of course, was not returned. And that's how Sanwo-Olu came in. So that's Wike. That's an image, of course, not a video. In terms of videos, I think I uploaded 2 videos. Okay, so here's the first one.
About it. Even when you have spent your 8 years in office, then you continue to pretend to say who becomes who, whatever, in River State. Somebody say me. It may happen in Lagos State, but it will not happen in Rivers. We are quite different. It will not happen here. As a governor, I will come and go. I can't stop it. I must come and go. All the Kebari left. You've never heard of me saying that you will do this, you will not do that. The day my tenure, by the grace of God, ends, I go. That's how God wants it. But see, when you are in a position to think that what's happening in Lagos State, you will do it here, it may be difficult. You cannot continue to say you must be a godfather of the state. That's the problem. It's not possible. The day I live here in the name of Almighty God, I have no business to say, why must I produce? Why? What am I hiding? The people of the state should be able to say, this is who they want to produce. We from River State, we know we have lost somebody in Dr. Peter. I can tell you, what the Nigerian.
It didn't start today. Before we can join APC, before we can join this government, this has been planned.
So, that was Wike saying that he wouldn't even anoint a successor. Then it was governor was just saying, I'm not even going to tell you who to vote for, let alone enforce somebody or, force somebody upon you. Now, after he changed his mind and he anointed and appointed a successor, he now said this.
Successors turn against their predecessors in politics.
Yes, yeah.
Would you be worried if that happens to you?
Why? Is he serving me? Was he born to serve me? He wanted to serve the state. The problem we have, or leaders have, is that look, you succeeded in supporting the person to be in office, right? What you did, is it for him to fail or to succeed? You want you to come into your house to be taking orders? You want your wife to go into time, look, this is what I want to do, not what. You see, once you have left office, you give yourself that respect. I say, I have done my own. If he wants my advice, it's okay. If he doesn't want my advice, it's okay. But for me to begin from day to day telling him he must do this, he must do that. That is not acceptable.
Okay, so that's Wike. It's not. There's no technology, like Buhari said when he saw the Ganduje video, and he said, "What technology did they use to put this together that is fake?" And this same Ganduje is some people's favorites. If he runs for office tomorrow, they will come and whitewash him and tell you it's the best thing that's happened to Nigeria as a master strategist. So that's Wike. And it's not different from most politicians around the world, not even just Nigeria. Politicians are politicians. It's part of what they do. They lie. You know, if politician tells you good morning, open your curtain, it's probably evening. Okay, so this is not the first time we would have state of emergency declared. Since this Fourth Republic started, Obasanjo did it in 2004 with Dari, you know, when they killed some Christians in Kano, and people in, I think it was Plateau, they retaliated and killed some Muslims. And Obasanjo declared state of emergency, and he kicked Dari out. And then Khan had a spine, Christian Association of Nigeria, they had a spine. And they spoke out against that, and they said they think it's not fair that if you're going to remove Dari, you should have removed the governor of Kano, because this thing started in Kano. So Obasanjo did it then. So it's not new, because as you would expect, there are people, the emergency lovers of Nigeria, as they call them these days, they will come and tell you it's not new. It's not the first time they would impeach some state of emergency. What's the big deal? So be prepared. They would remind you that Obasanjo, who is Peter Obi's godfather now, did it. So why are you crying? Because anybody who speaks against Tinubu is unobedient. It's like Atiku doesn't exist. So Obasanjo did it, and he did it again in 2006 in Ekiti. So Obasanjo did it twice. Then the most interesting one was when Jonathan did it in 3 states: Yobe, Adamawa, and Borno State. And that was due to insecurity. It was too much. But in his own case, he did not remove the governors. So, like I was telling one Tinubu supporter that I was gisting with this evening, because I have a lot of them as friends, I said, that state of emergency, no big deal, but you could have kept the governor, a lot of military presence. You could have said there's curfew between this time and this time, and some areas that are flashpoints, no movement at all, heavy military presence. You could have done it, hybrid. And the guy said, no, you can't have state of emergency without removing the governor. So I sent him a clip of when Ruben Abati was one of the spokesmen for Jonathan, and he went on Channels TV to say these are the reasons why President Jonathan did not remove the governors. The governors were there. He didn't remove them, but there was state of emergency. And President Tinubu had something to say because he was part of ACN at the time. Let me read what he said to you. Because I've seen people in the comment section saying, oh, what do you expect? Oh, state of emergency. We're not saying it's wrong. At least I'm not saying it's wrong. Of course, you look at the politics of it and you say, okay, maybe motives are there. But if there's problem, it's better to mitigate it. But you can't deny the political undertone of this move. But the people celebrating this, their daddy, or some of them, their granddad, said this when Jonathan declared state of emergency without removing the governors. I'll read it to you quickly. Tinubu said this: the body language of the Jonathan administration leads any keen watcher of events with unmistakable conclusion of the existence of a surreptitious but barely disguised intention to muzzle the elected government of this state for what is clearly a display of unpardonable mediocrity and diabolic partisanship geared towards 2015. Borno and Yobe states have been literally under armies of occupation with the attendant excruciating hardship experienced daily by the indigents and residents of these areas. This government now wants to use the excuse of security challenges faced by the governors to remove them from the state considered hostile towards 2015 PDP/Jonathan project. You can see the parallel. So I would use that as a segue into what some people have said on this panel to say 2027, It's part of the play. It's part of what's just happened now. Yes, you can say the resources of River State is important, and I agree. Also, 2027, you can't deny that factor. Let me liken this to football, soccer. For those of you in America, I think most of you in the US. If I was Tinubu, the kind of guy he is, it's like a Pep Guardiola winning the Premiership, but he lost home and away to Liverpool, to Arsenal, to Tottenham, to Chelsea, and to Manchester United. All the big boys, you lost against them. Tinubu lost in Lagos, presidential election. He lost in Lagos. He lost in Rivers. He lost in Abuja. He has clawed back those 3 states. If you've not realized, there won't be a repeat of what happened in 2023 in Lagos. River State has been captured. Abuja, Wike is the governor. So those 3 states. Yes, someone said he doesn't need to win those 3 states to be president, but there's a sweeter feeling to it. Those are very key places. You're the president, but you're not popular in Lagos, you're not popular in Rivers, you're not popular in Abuja, you didn't win Kano. Of course, he adds to it to say, you know what, the places where we weren't popular, now we're popular. They voted for us. We've won. So that's what I see. It's part of what's happening there. Also, Fubara, I have little sympathy for him. I have no dog in this fight. It is what it is. You come in through the back door, you go out through the back door. How did he come in? He himself. I have no sympathy for him. The people of River State, I have sympathy for. Fubara himself, how did he come in? Did you guys realize that EFCC was looking for Fubara? When Wike was about to leave office, EFCC were looking for him. They were talking billions, the amount of money I've never had before. They were looking for him. Wike hid this guy. You forgot, Fubara was worse than this Okpeholo during campaign. I never had Fubara speak. I saw Wike was the one speaking. I was like, who is this guy? Can he even speak? And all of a sudden, he's the governor. So I have no sympathy for him. If they kick him out, tough luck. I don't care. I just want the people of River State to have something to celebrate. What else have I left there that I've not said because of this forgetfulness? I think that's about everything I wanted to say on this issue. So I wish the people of River State, I wish them luck. Like I told some friends, none of Fubara's children would die in this whole thing. Wike's children, you see them, they went to Italy with him. They will go to Tinubu's house. Those are the places they go to. They're not going to be involved. They're probably not in Nigeria. Wike's children, Fubara's children. But I can guarantee you, some nobody's children are going to lose their lives in this episode that's just started. So I wish the people well. I wish the people would, for once, start being selfish like the politicians and ask, what is the need for us? Because all this fight you're fighting on behalf of big men, it's about protection. You know, Wike's children are already being taken to high places. Before you know it, one will become a councillor or whatever, one will become a commissioner. And they will rule over River State while the same people will be fighting and breaking bottle. So it is 11:15 p.m. in the UK. I think I've paid a huge price in staying awake. In fact, I was asleep. I had to set an alarm to say, let me join this stream. I would go backstage and enjoy the rest of this of the conversation.
Thank you, Sure. But before you go, I just wanted to add to what you just said that you know, one of the reasons why he may want Rivers and not take any risk in Lagos is even to get Anambra is that he doesn't know what will happen in the north. So people who are saying that he doesn't need the states, he may depend on them really, because the north might go in a different direction, and then he will be left with, you know, if you don't have Rivers, you don't have Lagos, you don't have maybe Anambra in addition to Imo and Ebonyi, then you're finished. So I don't think he's taking chances. All right, thank you.
Rudolph, don't you think what you're speaking of is an ideal situation, assuming that the vote go as planned, the people cast their votes and they are properly counted, then what you're talking about would play out?
Yeah, you think you know that what happened in Lagos or in Abuja? You think they didn't try, or they wouldn't want to try? You know, there are some situations where they know they can't change it. So the best thing is, if you want to win, make sure you don't take chances, even in places that you otherwise could
Well,
sacrifice.
the little bit of inside information that I got, I would use the word alleged, although it was a former commissioner and it was actually pulled out by Tinubu now that he's president. He was hoping to be one of the ministers, was actually promised in Lagos. But Lagos was a giveaway from what he told me. It's not that he lost it. If he wanted Lagos, he would get it. But it was a giveaway to pacify everybody else, to say, oh, well, in Lagos, that's my stronghold. I lost it. And that would sort of pacify the bitterness or the fight. It wouldn't have made sense. It would have been a little bit more grievous if he took Lagos State as well. So it's part of his game plan to say, yes, I lost the state. But, and if you listen in his rhetoric after the election, he always put it up that, oh, yeah, I lost Lagos State. That's my strong base. So I'm not crying over it. Why is everybody else crying over the rest of the results? The point is, Tinubu is a roughneck, all right? He will do whatever it takes. I was in Lagos when he was governor, and I saw some things that he did. If he wants it, he will get it. He knows how to play his cards, I would say, all right? But I still maintain that votes don't count in Nigeria. If they can turn off beavers, manipulate the numbers, write down with ink what computers could have captured, I don't think it depends on numbers to say, I didn't win Rivers in 2023. Now I have it under control and Lagos under control and Abuja. So whatever else the North decides to do, I win. He can come up in 2027 and say, the entire North voted for him. Here are the numbers. If he has his man in INEC, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. That's why I think that really is beyond votes. They are not democratic. They don't understand principles. They don't follow what is considered the norm in any process or system. They go the back way. It's like the Agbero kind of move. You get what you want by force. And he said it, grab it, run with it. It's not given to you. So really, I don't think it's numbers. I think it's beyond that. It's all about what he wants, and he has to get it.
All right. Thank you. Benson.
Can I quickly say something before Benson? Yeah. Okay. So I don't want to belabor the matter, but I still want to disagree with Flagship about this. So if losing Lagos was a giveaway just to pacify us, to create a make-believe, have you seen how painful it was for him? It was a humiliating thing for him. You could see the comments his wife made. You could see the post-election behavior of his political son, Sanwo-Olu, in terms of trying to redraw the map of the state and literally use the word to water down the influence of supposed non-indigenes of the state who voted en masse that way. He didn't like it. That was a humiliating factor for him. And you see, like you rightly said, I agree with you, Rudolph. Nobody knows, as much as I agree with you on that, Flagship. Everybody knows when he wants to get something, he will do everything. But he also knows that he also needs to cover some flanks in case some of his calculations don't work out. Listen, he knows he can't control the Northerners, whether he's president or not. He knows that if those guys decide they want to die over their votes, you think he couldn't have done Kanu? But he realized he couldn't dare it. They even tried some post-election activities when an appeal court declared the APC guy the winner. Was it the tribunal declared the APC guy the winner? When they tested that water and saw how it was going to go, they allowed the appeal court to declare the original thing, and then everything went to bed. So he wants to cover all those flanks. This resources people keep saying Rivers resource is a subset of the national resource. A man is controlling national resource, and Rivers resource is under that resource. I don't know why you keep pulling out Rivers resource. Nigeria's oil is Nigeria's oil, whether it is in Abia State, in Bayelsa, in Rivers, in Delta, and he's in charge of all of that. So I don't see this Rivers resource he wants to control. If it's Rivers State doesn't control his resource. The federal government controls the resources of every state, especially when it comes to oil. So there is no trying to pull out Rivers resources. It's about the election, and they are doing their permutations. Even if he brings his man in there, don't forget that Atahiru Jega conducted the election twice. He conducted the 2011 one that Buhari lost. He conducted the 2015 one that Jonathan lost. In 2015, it looked like Atahiru Jega was a bit more partisan and sympathetic to APC. This man, listen, he doesn't want to, because you can put somebody there as your stooge. And the person goes there and decides to do the right thing. If the person goes and decides to do the right thing, you're done for. There's no guarantee that whoever he's going to appoint as INEC chairman might not take the appointment, behave like a Fubara, behave like the godson, but get there in the full view of Nigerians, choose to do the right thing, and turn the table against you, and you won't be able to manipulate them. So these are some of the calculations they know, but they would rather, you know what, cover all flanks to make sure at the end of the day, they have done their job. So I still believe that it is a 2027 election. Remove a Fubara who can give an article or a Peter Obi an opportunity in that state, and be sure that you have it in control. That's what they're doing.
But well, yeah, I agree. But you know, Tinubu, the way from the little I know about him on his business side, Tinubu doesn't think for 10 years. Tinubu thinks way beyond. Lagos today is in the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
2027, he's only going to be there for 8 years. So he controls it from 8 years. There's a difference between controlling it for 8 years, the entire nation's resources, and owning it for a lifetime.
Which he has started doing already.
That's what he's after. He's not looking at 2027 to control Nigeria's resources.
All right. Let's get other people
beyond that.
We'll come back to you guys. Let's get Benson. Benson, go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Damages.
How are you?
Fine, and you and
Good.
the family?
Very good.
Good evening, all the whole panelists. Jim, Mr. Ike, your show, the flagship, and Desta, Christian. May God bless all of you for coming this night. It's not easy to leave what you're doing. Well, I agree with flagship a bit, because, and again, I think why the man is doing what he's doing, because he wants to compensate Wike. Wike compensated him Wike did for him with the Supreme Court. The way the Supreme Court gave him the victory, that's what he wanted to do for Wike now. Because Wike wants to control Rivers State through, through Fubara. But Fubara didn't want to go through that way. So now, he doesn't want Wike to lose everything. So he wants to compensate Wike. That's what he's doing. And all these things, I believe that is a plan. They pre-planned it before. They planned it very, very well. How to take that place. If Fubara refuses, then they go through this way. And I believe that yesterday night or this morning, that Inferno came. It was the APC people. They have planned everything. They planned all these things. And I pity for Nigerians, and I pity for those who say the elders of Nigerians. For this kind of thing to be happening, you see, as long as the people continue to keep quiet and they say they love the country, they don't know whom they are putting. They have putting their hands into the lion's den, lion's mouth. That's where Nigeria is putting their hands to. You can't give yourself to a drug dealer, a useless cocaine dealer, a criminal, all the people who have been ruling Nigeria. This is the worst criminal Nigeria ever had. You can't give your country to such a human being. You see, this APC, we said last week, Saturday, that it's an evil party. They started with Imo State. That is why even anything happened today, no government in Imo State want to react. Because if you react, they will remove you. They find one way or the other to remove you. That's why, and now, what they are trying to do now, any governor who tries anything, they will use another way to remove that governor. So it's like caging all the whole people. If the people of Nigeria don't want to stand up on this now, this is how they're gonna be. That's how the thing's gonna be running in Nigeria, and it will become worse. This is just the beginning of Nigeria falling. This is the beginning of Nigeria suffering. Tinubu will do everything to destroy the people of Nigeria. Look at this NYC chap now. Some people Yoruba listen are defending this man. What is happening? The other man said it's a capital. It's supposed to be a capital punishment. You put useless people as aides in a good country. Look at Malaysia. Look at Namibia. Look at Japan. You can't put people. How many aides must a president have? What are the aides doing? Go to Malaysia. You see people working in industry, factories. Go to Japan. You see people working in factories, industries. In Nigeria, if a senior president will have more than 28, president will have more than 58. What are the aides doing for? Then you say the country can move forward. If they continue on this trajectory, honestly, Nigeria is going for is on. And let me tell you, I'm a Nigerian, but Nigeria is like a cost place. It's like a cost place because what is happening in Nigeria is like we are cost. By living this kind of nonsense, look at Benue State. People are dying in Benue State every day. But they can't put a state of emergency there. Nothing is being done. People are dying in the many places in Nasara, but no state of emergency. But because of one thing or the other, this Wike, if Wike is not in this government, will Wike be doing what he's doing? Wike cannot be doing what he's doing. So Tinubu, I don't blame even Wike. Who I blame is Tinubu. All this nonsense happening in Rivers State is Tinubu. And after Rivers, they will go to another state. Any other state that they want, they will go there and take it with another person who they will bring out to disturb the state. So Nigerians, all those who say they love Nigeria, we want Nigeria, we want one Nigeria. If they don't stand up today with this what's happening, then let them take it that Nigeria is a ready gone place. Because from Imo State, they go to the Supreme Court, which Obi won the election, and they gave it to Tinubu. From there, what is Natasha and everybody is keeping quiet. People cannot be talking. Nigerians should not be talking. Talking cannot solve any problem. If they like, let them make activism. So when they go this side, they go that side. Other people make this activism. It cannot work. If the people doesn't vote, and for me, Yorubas that are supporting Tinubu, or some people, majority of them, 80% of Yorubas today are supporting Tinubu. Some of them are not supporting Tinubu. If they know that Tinubu is their son and is doing the right thing, well, it's good for them. But if they know that it's not doing let the Yorubas revolt against Tinubu. If they know that Tinubu is doing the wrong thing, let them revolt against him. The revolt is supposed to start in Lagos State. Jonathan was there doing a bit something good, but Yorubas and some other people decided to revolt against Jonathan. But today, Tinubu is doing the worst thing in Nigeria, but they don't want to revolt against Tinubu. If you want to protest in Lagos, they bring their juju nonsense. Say you cannot protest there because they like what he's doing. They employ his people. Look at even when you see Tinubu coming out, look at how many people at his back. What are those people doing at his back? Is that how a country is being run? More than 4 or 5 people standing at his back. They're not the military. They're not police. They're nothing. Just eating salaries. Because this money, this oil money, is not their own money. That's why all these things are happening. If this morning, the oil money, this oil is in Yoruba land, and then an eastern or a western or a south man is there. We they agree what is happening today? Every institution is by Yoruba man. A country does not run like this. Let the people of Nigeria stand up. If they continue like this, they are gone. Thank you, Mr. Damages. This country is tired. They are pity for the elders. Those elders who have Nigeria today are very. I believe that most 90% of them are very useless.
Thank you, Benson. Christian, welcome.
Yes. Good evening.
Yeah, nice to see you.
So, well, people like me will rejoice like on a day like this. The reason I'm rejoicing is we know this kind of thing will always happen. This is a symptom of a bad of a disease nobody wants to talk about. We talk about the symptom. This is expected, actually, because from the time Tinubu won the election, he went back to Wike and told him that he doesn't change his color. So, in a situation where Wike will be fighting with anybody, Tinubu is expected to be on his side. Now, why am I saying it's a symptom of a disease nobody wants to talk about? In a federation, what you have in a federation is a union of constitution. River State doesn't have a constitution because it doesn't. So I don't know why it is called a federation. In a union of constitution, the secondary constitution cannot suspend the primary constitution. You know, so but that is what exactly happened. And everybody now is just trying to talk about Wike and Tinubu and Fubara. They are not talking about the problem. Why would we have a situation where the federal government will ever suspend people? A governor he didn't create. You know, so if you look at the situation, and the reason why also this happened as well is when you go to rivers now, they're talking about Ikwere, they talk about Ijo, they talk about Ndoni, they talk about all these things. They say this one is minority, this one is majority. Nobody should be a minority in his own home. Nobody should be a minority in his own home. If Ijo, as a nation, if they allowed us to federate in Nigeria as a nation, you will have Bayelsa, the people in Bayelsa, the people in Rivers, the people in Ondo. In fact, I would like to hear what Shiore will say about this, because Shiore is an Ijo, but he doesn't seem to understand that. You know, so I want to know, you know, if the Ijo as a nation is allowed to federate and have their own constitution, I don't think any president will have the audacity to go to that country or to that nation and remove their leader. It's not going to happen. But it's going to, the reason why they do it, I mean, rivers doesn't mean anything to anybody there. Nobody answers a river. So they say they give you rivers and then you answer rivers. What does it mean? Does it inspire emotion to you? No. So let's those of you who are intellectuals, I keep on asking you people, please go back to the solution, to the real problem of the rat country. Discuss it. And then it will be, once it's discussed, then you can resolve it and then you can see development. Every society that is first with diversity doesn't move anywhere. And that is where the problem lies. But they can resolve diversity problem. You know, and so my take on this is that it's just like another episode of a decaying of something that is not supposed to be an aberration. You know, it's an episode of an aberration. So people will say, "Oh, why Fubara why Fubara he came with from the back door, so he should go to the back door." In fact, actually, it's a cultural issue. People don't see it as a cultural issue because in the Western world, in the Southwest, where they obey their leaders so much, you know, they have the kind of kingship, you know. So it was easy for Tinubu to say something in Lagos and everybody obeys. But in the southeastern region, it is hard to have a king or somebody to do this thing. So when this man, you know, tried to become king in Rivers, people naturally resisting it. And that's one of the things. It's a cultural issue. But people don't see it that way. They see it in terms of corrupt people. The problem is cultural. It has nothing to do with just corrupt people, because there's always corrupt people everywhere. So I just don't know. I'm glad that this is happening. So we'll keep on watching until those of you who are intellectuals should go back and discuss the issue that matters. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I thought you were going to say that it's an issue with the Constitution. Let me just say that when you were talking about no place that a president can remove a governor or something like that in a democracy. In New York here, last year, even up till last 2 months, there was a chance that the governor of New York State could have removed the mayor of New York City. The law is structured that way, that in situations where we have a mayor who is indicted here, that the governor of the state has the power to remove the mayor of the city, even though the mayor was elected by the people of New York. So
no damages. Let me say this. In New York, that mayor of New York, because I followed that, it's not in union with the America. So what it has no, it's still under New York as a state. Okay, the state. You don't tell me that Trump, no matter how your autocratic it has become, has the power to remove the mayor of New York. I mean the governor of New York.
No.
Can he do that?
No. But
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a union. It's a union. So if you are talking about Governor Fubara removing the local government chairman, that is within the state. Yes, it has nothing to do with the union, the federation.
That's why I said that initially I thought what you were going to have issue with is the Constitution.
No. The Constitution, there's no Constitution in Nigeria. I've told you there's no Constitution in Nigeria in the first instance. Because the Constitution you are looking at, if you are calling it a federal Constitution, tell me the Constitution that is uniting to form this federal Constitution. If you don't have, you can't place something on nothing. The lawyer, those of you who are lawyers will say. Isn't that correct? So there's no Constitution in Nigeria. What actually happens is that people just put up something, the Fulani's or the Northerners put up something which they want to use to administer Nigeria, which they feel they have conquered.
All right. We'll get to that. Maybe I will bring Tony Nadi to also blame the Constitution for us one day. Odi, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah, so, well, I think it's nice to see everybody. I think the main problem, this is about 2027, right? It's very clear. And my concern, why I jumped on this show, is that we are creating another Houdini, which I don't know why we are going that path. Tinubu, has been doing illegalities, and it's easy to commit crime to get proceeds of it than to do something good. It's easy to destroy than to build, right? What did Tinubu do in Chicago? We all know about the illegalities. Bajamila was in the same kind of groove. The Labour Party guy. So there's so many guys, that did some illegalities in the West that returned to Nigeria and are dominating the political space. So he's not alone to have been able to plot such things. How did he become? If you look at his trajectory to get to the presidency, it's not that, he was, one Houdini that did something nobody has done before. He played on people's religion and sentiment and tribe and was able to get there. The idea that, like, I don't think we should think about this too hard, right? Yes, it's about 2027, but the idea, with all due respect, the flagship, you mentioned that he said that they just gave up Lagos, like you're creating a myth, like, someone, so he can decide to give and choose and break which state. I'll give this one and this permutation. Of course, everybody could see that it was tough for them losing Lagos. If they tried to rig as much as possible, they didn't see it coming. Like, I don't think they saw that they were going to lose Lagos. They thought they would get, they had their machinery already. What they were surprised by, which they controlled for the gubernatorial, was to stop people from coming out. Because if they did not stop people from coming out to vote, they would have this Sanwo-Olu would not be governor now. Because so the idea that we're creating some legendary person, please, let's not do that. And people in Nigeria can do that. They can talk about him as one Anene or one person. The story of Anene, he would miss here, he would disappear there. Like, we shouldn't be discussing that. This is very clear. I think it's making a very clear mistake. If you look at the way Nigeria is structured, yes, I agree that the North is going to be difficult. I think this is all about PDP for now, because from what I've heard, Fubara, people were, in Nigeria, you need money, right? The governors fund the big parties. From what I was getting, and that's why they stopped the funding of, first of all, the first thing was cut off funding to River State. But then second stanza is now, because Fubara was going to help fund that block that was coming together in PDP. Because the time for the imposter in PDP, it looks like his clock is ticking, because he can't stay there forever. Now, the only way they can do this is to take over River State by force. But I thought he would have maybe just waited a little bit. Because the problem, the road to 2027 is still very, very, very far. Even if you're a thief and they give you something like that, a big prize, thought maybe the idea would be to start by demonstrating good leadership, finding a way. Even a chap, what's his name? The guy in Colombia that was seeking, that did what he's trying to do, was going to pledge to become a changed man if he won the presidential seats in Colombia, Escobar. But this guy wants to grab it by force in River State. River State is a very volatile place, as we know, and nobody is sure what will happen. Though I agree with Shaw, have no sympathy for Fubara. Zero. Those people, you see, two thieves went to steal, they are fighting now. It's good, we enjoy the show. I just pity Rivers people. But, people have to start. Personally, I see this as a next stage before we get the benevolent dictator that I'm asking for. Because, this is worse than military for what we are seeing now. I've never seen where you're declaring, so that means if he sees any threat in Kanu or in Imo State or in Abia or in Lagos State, he will just declare emergency state of. This is ridiculous. I didn't see that anybody was killed. I think he dropped the gun. And, like I said on the show, I think over the weekend, you have to allow your opponents to get something. You can't push them to the wall. He's taking over PDP, Labour Party, APC, SDP. You have to give your opponent something, or they will go, for the next alternative. Because, there has to be, nature doesn't have, nature abhors vacuum. There is no way you won't give them something. Well, I'll just stop here. But, I think he's made a terrible, terrible mistake. And, I think we're about to see, maybe it's for the good at the end of the day, but we'll see what happens.
All right. Thank you, Odi. And Let's see. Kene is here. After Kene, I'll go back to Ike and Chim. Kene, welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Damages. Good evening, everyone.
This is it.
Pardon me?
I said this is it.
Yeah, this is it. So I actually don't have much to say, but to remind us that River State was taken in 2023. River State was hijacked since 2023 during the election, and I think we are crying very late. It's just so unfortunate that the people of River State folded their hands while their state was hijacked during the election, and today we are crying. So I personally would have sympathized with the with people of River State, both the Ikweres, the Igbos, the Igbos, the Ijaws, the Asians, and what have you. I would have sympathized with them, but for the fact that they folded their hands and a single person or one person in the name of Wike hijacked the state with the help of this current governor, Fubara. They conspired to hijack the state from the people, and today they're fighting themselves. So for that fact, I wouldn't sympathize with the people. The only thing that I will wish them is whomever, allegedly, I will not have claim on this one, but allegedly, it was rumored that APC was responsible for setting up the refineries on fire, blowing off the pipes and all that. APC did that so that Tinubu will come in and perfect his mission, just as he just carried out. But the only thing that I will wish them is whomever that is responsible for blowing off the pipeline should please. We have a lot more. We have the petrochemical. We have the NNPC itself. We have a lot. They can even extend it to the one in Rivers in Imo State. And I think they have one. They have some in Bayelsa. Set everything on fire. Make sure they burn to pieces. Make sure there is no oil in Nigeria, no fuel, nothing.
All right.
Put the people in real suffering. That is the only thing that I wish for them. And for Wike, try to finish Fubara. Fubara tried to finish Wike. Let there no be peace between them. There shall never be peace for the wicked. That's the only thing I have for them. No sympathy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Kenneth. At this point, I have to remind everybody that we don't encourage violence on this platform. The views expressed.
I know. I should have said that earlier. This platform doesn't, but Kenneth does. Sorry.
All right. Also, we're hearing that Wike is not stopping there. There is this memo from the Federal Capital Territory warning or telling revoking the occupancy right of PDP to their own, I think that's their party office. So, you know, when you embolden somebody like Wike, it's not going to only be Fubara or anybody like that will be the one that will deal with the consequences. So we may see more actions. But again, I'm more worried about reactions, not just the actions. Ike, I'll come to you, but before then, let me show another picture. Someone mentioned that Tinubu's aide, who Timi Tope Ajay, who wrote about the youth copper. We may actually get to that, but let's just finish up on this situation in River State. We may get to have just one take on what's happening with the lady, NYC lady. All right, Ike. So what's the solution now? What do you think? How do we pull back from where we're going? Because in 1962, I think it was May 29th, 1962, Tafawa Balewa declared a state of emergency in the southwestern region of Nigeria. And people who were there then thought it was just, one of those things. And before you knew it, that led to the coup, the crisis in the western region, and the military coup in Nigeria. All right.
Well, for me personally, Dr. Damages, I think that my own idea of solution is that your president should reverse the decision he has taken today and allow the people of River State to live in peace and let the man who they felt that is their governor serve them. And I think that the government, the federal government, before now, if not because what all of us have said here, everything is all about paying back what he did for them in 2023 and preparing for 2027. The president has given Wike so much power and influence that nobody can say anything against Wike in Nigeria. So he's having his way. Like we were talking this week, you know, we talk about Nigerians. Nigerians don't react. We have been pushed to the wall, this and that. I think it has come to the point that the wall is going to push itself. It's going to push back, you know. So my hope is that the Supreme Court, as I said, listen. Let me remember in 1983, Dr. Damages, I don't know whether you started practicing your journalism in 1983, after the election of 1983.
No, sir.
Okay.
But I think I know where you're going to. Is it what happened in Ondo State? No.
I want to say about what happened after the election.
Yeah.
If you followed 1983, after the election, if you remember vividly, any of us who remembered after the 1983 presidential election, after the result was declared, Zeke called a press conference. And in that press conference, Zeke said, and I quote, "For anyone who participated in the rigging of 1983 election would never go unpunished." If you remember that 1983, after Zeke's press conference, politicians begin to die one after the other. And I remember vividly, while Zeke was traveling to Port Harcourt, Okadibo called politicians in Nigeria to go and beg Zeke because the way politicians are dying in Nigeria is too much. He went to beg Zeke. Okadibo himself also went to beg Zeke. So, but Zeke was traveling to Port Harcourt. At the airport, journalists asked him, listen, in your press conference, you said that everyone that is participated in the rigging of 1983 election would not go unpunished. And the idea in Nigeria presently is that the politicians that are dying is based on the cost that you have laid on politicians in Nigeria. So what do you have to say about this? So Zeke said, well, listen, if the politicians in Nigeria feel that I've cost them, okay, I remove the cost, you know? So listen, I think that something has to give way in Nigeria, Dr. Damages. At this point that we are right now, I believe that something has to give way, because if not, nothing is going to work. Because I don't even know what kind of solution do we want. The solution has been there for a very long time, but the president was playing to the gallery because he needed, this is what he wanted to do, right? What stops him from saying, hey, my friend, listen, I don't want this to continue. Listen, you have taken your 8 years. Allow this man to rule for 4 years. Even there was an agreement, but both of you read. Listen, allow this young man to rule, right, for 4 years. Give this man a breathing space. Even what agreement is it supposed to be? Not to share the money of River State. Is it Wike's money? The agreement that the man refused to obey is the money to share the wealth of River State. Ngige did it. Andrew Uba took him to the shrine. He went there and swore. And he came out and he didn't do what Andrew Uba asked him to do. What did he say? That my doing that was to destroy the power of Godfatherism in Anambra politics. And that's how it ended. And when Peter Obi came in, he finished the remaining one that remained of Godfatherism in Anambra State. So, I mean, listen, this is what it is all about. So something has to give way. I don't see any solution to the problem in River State right now. And I think that, as I said before, that the people of River State should defend their vote, whether this man came through the back door or not. He was elected by the people, just like the way the man who announced the emergency whatever was elected was also, that's the same way he did, because he stole, he ran and took it away. So what are we talking about? I don't know solution to it, but Dr. Damages, I'm telling you. I give you my word that Nigeria, something must, and it started with Natasha, now to the girl of NYC, now to this. Something is going to give way in Nigeria, and it is coming, it is brewing, they are cooking it, and it's going to happen.
All right, thank you. I wish you can call Zeke now and see what he could do for us. The flagship. You're nice. We can't hear you, flagship. You're muted. All right. Flagship, there's a problem at your end. Let's go to Chim. I'll come back to you.
Can you hear me?
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah. I was saying, Rudolph, that you took that one out of my mouth. I wish Zeke never undid that thing he did. Maybe Nigeria would have been a better place today if that really worked. If not, we need to find another Zeke that will do the same, because that would be maybe one good solution right now. You know, it's unfortunate that we have a group of people who really don't understand what diplomacy is. And even if you introduce it to them, they still would not know what it means and will not be able to apply it because they don't understand it. These are grab and go kind of guys that we've allowed into our polity, and they are running the country right now. Systems like this usually implode. They self-implode. It doesn't last for long. Back in the day in Nigeria, where my little community, we used to have a group of guys who we call Jagudas. They are the tops, the area boys. And they tend to hold control of territories, areas. And when you have one that becomes so powerful and they begin to overtake other areas, it's only a matter of time that they get taken out. It self-implodes within their little group. And what brings them down is usually something that they overlook, minute, but it's right there, and it blows the whole thing up. So, yes, I agree with Mr. Ike. Something will give way. When you run rampage like this, it's only a matter of time. You fall down. So Wike is doing the dirty job for Tinubu right now. But one of the product that he's making in this whole rampage that is running is a lot of enemies. And they are all gathering up like a pack of hyenas that are waiting for the day that Tinubu will dump him. And I bet you it will happen. Because no matter how Tinubu compensates Wike, there is no place in Nigeria that he would be comfortable in to enjoy whatever he's compensated with, except he leaves Nigeria. Or perhaps maybe there will be. And if that happens, that means Nigeria really, we should throw in the towel and give up on it. But as it is right now, I would say to the people of Rivers State, don't take immediate actions. Think about your lives. And I agree with Sho. The kids of these guys are not in town. Even if they are there in town, they are guarded by the strongest of the Nigerian military. So they will not suffer a single mosquito bite in all of these fracas that's going on. So think about yourself, be strategic, you know what to do, and be very tactful in doing it. Until that system that they are running now gets off. Right now, there's no foreseeable solution. Even if there is, we won't say it. But there is one. We just haven't discovered it yet. We're still going to keep working on it until we find a way to put it together and apply it, and hopefully get some sort of sanity back in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. Chim, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't had lunch. I got back here and I decided to quickly come and join you in this conversation. You know, Number one thing I want to quickly address is the comparisons of this whole emergency declaration things. First and foremost, not that I am supporting emergency declarations, so no president should be removing anybody because you disagree with them. There should be constitutional ways of addressing issues, and I'm sure I haven't properly read that so-called section that he quoted and liaised on to do what he did. But I'm sure if we take it clearly and read it, we will see that that's not what he's saying. Because what's his name? Femi Falana. Somebody posted a video of Femi Falana responding to the state of emergency and removal of the governor of Plateau State when it happened. Was it Plateau State on 2013? No, it was the 2013 one when he said it is not constitutional. I have that video. I think I've shared it with a few people. But what I just want to say is this. Even if you were to justify the declaration of a state of emergency, you would see that in the first instance, Obasanjo, who did it, and like I said earlier, I am not justifying it, he and Darie belonged to the same party. There was some form of crisis, clearly, that he wanted to checkmate. 2, when Jonathan did it in Borno State, it was because of Boko Haram insurgency and how it was rampaging the whole country. And I think this was before the 2015 election when they were trying to resolve issues. Then they declared a state of emergency in that area to allow the military guys properly do their job, which worked, but he did not remove the governor. He knew that why he could declare a state of emergency in any part of the country. It's like what you guys do in the US, where the president will send the Marines. You send the Marines into a state if there's a crisis in any state. But the president will not remove any state governor. The other thing I want to bring out is, I think it was in your conversation with Christian. I have read a few parts of the American Constitution and the Canadian one. Municipalities, which is what we refer to as local governments back home in Nigeria, are creations of the states in, say, in the US, and they are creations of the province in a place like Canada. The provinces enable the creation of municipalities. So if a particular locality grows to an extent where it hits the hallmark to be given that status as a municipal, the state or the province will do that. And that's why they now become, and sometimes, and even at that, when the states or the provinces have the capacity to do this, you will see that even though they have given that municipality the power, they don't go and collect the power back from them willy-nilly. Do you understand? There's some measure of civility that says just because you can do something doesn't mean you have to do it. Unfortunately, like I will keep saying, and I don't know where maybe his people will see me, like I've seen a few of his people online saying all sorts of manner of rubbish. We are dealing with a self-acclaimed tout. I'm repeating it for Nigerians to understand who they have enabled. Whether he officially won the elections clean, which we know he didn't, or he grabbed it and ran with it. But for the fact that he has that key as president, to take that key from him is going to be a tough thing. He's been pushing the buttons and he will keep pushing it. So I will end this by saying, now that we know, I'm not asking anybody to go and die. Like Dele Faro to me, we say, don't die in their war. But the truth remains is that if Nigerians continue to swallow everything line hook and sinker, it's not going to abate. It's not going to abate. We know how in a country like Mexico, for instance, between the 1990 something and 2000s, when kidnapping and rampant, abduction of people became, we remember that era in Mexico when it was happening, until the people of Mexico stood up and started fighting back somehow. That's how that thing, in fact, a government minister in Mexico kidnapped his child too. If we remember the abduction of a girl that stirred the whole situation and began to lead to a solution to it. Until we Nigerians begin to say we need this to end, it will not end. Listen, we have a state capture. Nigerian politicians across Labour, PDP, APC, YPP, NMPP, all of them are in cahoots. they are all in cahoots. Look, the National Assembly is at the executive level, you might not be able to see it clearly. But the National Assembly, the way those guys behave in the National Assembly tells you a picture that is all about get into the political class and join the gang of... There are people who are not going to be sympathetic to Fubara. Not that I am saying those who have said it here are wrong, no. But I'm saying politicians who would... Because in the first instance, it should be the political class that will checkmate the president. We see what is happening in the US, that it is the political class that are trying to hold Donald Trump and the Republicans accountable. You know, whether I agree with them or not, you see people pushing, insisting on things be done. So it is not always the ordinary people. It is the political class who are close to power that will come out and say, no, we don't agree to this. How can you do this? And start putting pressure on him to reverse himself. But we've seen that every time we've had a president who is delving into the realm of unconstitutionality, our political class keep mute. They don't do anything. The only group that has done something, and they're the ones in power now, is when this group of people combined to form APC and they determined they needed to remove Jonathan. You saw what they did. They went on the streets, they campaigned, they used their influence in the US government until they blackmailed the man and rigged the election or won the election, however they got in. And since they've gotten into that office, this APC, it's going to be difficult to take them out. I thought 2023 would have been the closest chance we had, but things went the way they went because, like I have come to realize, I think sometimes those of us who call ourselves intellectuals, we have one weakness. We have not read the Nigerian political space very well. We think it's a gentleman's sport where people go and play gentility. Gentility will not take you anywhere with this kind of people we're dealing with. We're dealing with rogues. We're dealing with very criminal-minded characters who will push any button to get what they want to get. And so until we start learning to strategize quietly, keep our strategies to our chest, and, you know, go in our communities and do everything. If it is to come here and talk about how we're going to win 2023 election, does Tinubu give you his trump card? He doesn't give you his trump card. The man is always very calculated in what he's doing. The next thing he will just take you by surprise and do what he wants to do. That's how you play politics. But if it's to come and be discussing this thing and be doing an El Rufai, going around the country and singing like a bird, that will not remove this man from office. That's not the way you take people. Like you have to strategize on how to checkmate him very well. If you don't do that, he would leave office after 8 years, because I'm already giving him another 4 years. I've concluded that the man is going to be there for another 4 years. And after 4 years, his kind will come back. And maybe that his kind is this Wike. You'll be shocked. Wike will be the next president of Nigeria. Go and write it down. I'm going to leave there and go and eat my food, please.
All right, Tim, thank you so much. Okay, as president of Nigeria. That will be something. All right, let me go through Kene, Odi, and Christian, and I'll come down.
Yeah, thank you. About the NYSC girl, right?
Oh, I thought we were looking for solution, but anyway, you can go to
the
that.
Solution.
Yeah, if you have any solution.
I've given solution. Okay. Let them destroy themselves. No problem.
Let me jump in here. You know, so I heard Kene loud and clear, but you know why I disagree with that position. I think we got to speak out. Is if there was a pastor, I think in Germany in the 1930s, right, who made, I think it was Nulam or something, you know, Martin Nulam. You know, he was for the Nazis. He was for the ideology until Hitler came, and he could see what was happening. I think he said, you know, first they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist, right? Then they came for the trade unionists. I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak for me. So I think we just need to, the list of what we can do is to speak out. People are listening to us, and we can't stop talking. You know, there's something that Donald Trump, which you supported, has done. He has disrupted some things which may benefit people. You know, I can tell you, many of the boys in Nigeria who could help remedy this situation, their hands may be tied. People may have told them to stand down. If there's no one telling people to stand down now, people may just take initiative. It may just be, what Tinubu has done is to create a jungle right now. And it was too early for him to do that. Trust me, we need a savior in Nigeria. One person has to stand up. A group of people have to stand up. Let me land. I don't know why it's here going.
Jesus Christ came as a savior, but he had disciples around him to protect him, the likes of Paul that was using machete anyhow. So you can't have a savior standing alone while the people are busy sleeping or doing something that doesn't add value.
Let me land, and the idea. Let me land on that point. I was going to make a comment about some of these people who have not been speaking out. Like the likes of Wole Soyinka, Pastor Adeboye. Look, there's something that was this guy that Chim talked about that went to prison in Ekiti. What he said is, thank God for Tinubu. If not for this man, there are people who would have died with full honor. Men that we grew up to respect. Even this lawyer, what's his name? His history is now checkered. He came here, we asked him questions. Falana. We now, the way we used to see him, since Tinubu came, we don't see him anymore like that. People are questioning his credibility now. Everybody knows if Wole Soyinka dies today, more people will be cursing him than people will be praising him. If he died before Tinubu became president, the whole country would, he was a hero for our people, right? But now we're getting to know the true nature of this man. Tinubu, and we're going to hear, there are some we're still going to see. Well, thank God for this man. And look, the idea that Rivers people stayed silent is not true. And the idea that people in Nigeria people in Rivers State went out to vote their conscience. We will not be talking about this if people did not go to vote what they believed will help them. People decided to scuttle the process. So we can't blame the people who did their best. Nigerians actually went out to vote their conscience in 2023. These are people who are lackadaisical. But for the first time, many people decided, no, we're going to come out. I went to Nigeria. I saw these kids going to INEC to get PVC. People flooded INEC offices. So, yes, do we need to move to one more level? What happened in 2023, at least for a long time, hasn't happened in Nigeria. When people came out to vote, because INEC, even as the election process was kind of manipulated, BVAS still helped us to know that we're writing numbers, right? BVAS helped to show us where in the future, where we need to focus on. So the idea that, let Rivers people suffer, they didn't do anything. I disagree with that. People in Lagos tried. People, even in the north, the election, they still rigged the election. Even in PDP, they were busy rigging election. Even so, but they couldn't rig as much as they wanted to rig. So, well, I just thank Tinubu for exposing this man, so at least they can die with shame. What's the other one? The Labour Party man that just died the other day, that supported Obi. What's his name? The Obi. Donyo Okupe. Nobody. Everybody. I don't have to say anything about the dead, but everybody knows how Donyo Okupe will be remembered, and it's just because of one man, right? So I thank Tinubu for doing, but I'm telling you, the day of reckoning is coming.
All right,
because people are be pushed to the wall.
Okay, I just wanted to remind all of us that Soyinka is in his 90s, Adeboye is in his 80s. I know you will say that when Jonathan was in power, that was more than almost 10 years ago, more than that, yeah. So it's important to always remember that most of these people, we expect them to constantly be out there and doing this activism for us and fighting. That,
no, Rudolph, that's not true.
No, hold on, let me finish now. I'm not defending them. I'm just saying that if you think about, I always use my family as an example. I think about my grandmother, who, when she was in her 80s, and sometimes I think we need new leaders, and these leaders could be us. Not these people we wait and hope that they will be the ones that will lead this charge. I know some personal things about some of these people. Some of them they are people you don't see at all anymore. You're seeing people you see. They're people you don't see at all. Sometimes some of them are very ill. And you'll be thinking, why are they not speaking? But nobody has ever asked, where are they? I give an example. There's someone that died, and I wrote an obituary of this guy. He's an old man. He was in his 90s, and I mentioned him on this program. And people started calling me, oh, we didn't know he was alive. Yeah, people don't care. They still hope that these are the people that will be speaking for us. But the voice can be one of you, anybody here, that will be the next voice speaking for the country, not those old people. And some of them are not in a position to speak anymore because of what they're going through. Anyway, I'm just saying.
Sorry, before Rudolph lands on that, my understanding of what Odi said is not that we are expecting, I'm not expecting any old man to go on the street. What we're expecting them is to be a conscience of the society by saying the truth. Imagine in a situation where Pa Adebanjo, that we've celebrated, he didn't go on the street to do anything, but Pa Adebanjo was speaking the truth. And that's, in fact, the man was so honest enough to say that he made a mistake in the past, in his old political era, that he's trying to correct some of the mistakes he made. People, there are reasonable people to be who know that we're not perfect. Nobody is saying Shoyinka is a perfect man or Falana is a perfect man. No. What I'm expecting in Falana, for instance, and that's why 2 weeks ago when we had Mr. Isiekwene here, I said to him when he was using his personal encounter to, you know, kind of like borrow the phrase from Mr. our lawyer friend that wrote a book, you know, when he was trying to deodorize our president, I asked him, I said, this is a personal experience you've had with him. Okay, since you're that close to him, are you constantly reminding him that some of his activities are undemocratic? For a man who touted, people don't understand, I have met Tinubu touts his democratic credentials. He touts it like one of the biggest deals. But none of the things he's doing right now are democratic. If I'm your friend, Rudolph, and you know I'm hard on you, for instance, I will come out and I'll say, Mr. President, totally, this is wrong. You cannot. I want to see a Falana come out, he's a lawyer, to say, Mr. President, no, you can't do this, sir. I want to see a Shoyinka come out and say, Mr. President, no, you can't do this, sir. These are not things. This is not what we know you for. But none of those people will open their mouth and say anything. So for the fact that they can't open their mouth and say anything, they are liable. They lose our respect. That's the point we are making. I'm not expecting Adeboye to go on the street at 90. Fine, but he did go on the street at 80-something, or was it 70-something? So if he can do that, he can still do that again today. We just want them to be not to be allowing their friendship or relationship with this particular government becloud their sense of equity and justice and truth. That's the point I understand that Odi is trying to make.
And to add to what Shim is saying, Adeboye is still receiving a prophecy from God for 100 days fasting and prayer. So even if he doesn't want to criticize Tinubu, he should ask God for solution so that he will tell Tinubu, give Tinubu what the solution is from God. But the truth is, Mr. Odi, yeah, not that I'm wishing River State people bad. No, I have people in River State. I have friends in River State. It's just so sickening to see this kind of thing happening while the people are so docile, sitting, doing nothing about it. I don't think it would take them anything to come out on the street and protest and say, we no agree. In Kenya, the youth in Kenya did that and nothing happened. Heaven did not fall. They say, we no agree.
They killed many.
Yes, somebody has to die. Okay, even now that they're at home doing nothing, are people not dying? Go to our hospitals and see how people are dying every day. Go on the road, how people are dying of hunger. There's no food. right? People are getting kidnapped because one babala, one dibia or one pastor lied to them that you have to bring kidney or liver so that he will do juju for you, so that you become rich. People are dying every day because of poverty. So somebody has to die, you know. I mean, sacrifice has to be made. But if the youth can prepare themselves very well, I think do me I do you no be offense now, right? God no go vex. So if the youth come out on the streets to protest against the evils of the government and one useless, uncoordinated police that thinks that his children have not been affected, while this police can't even afford 3 square meals in his house, begin to be happy trigger against this youth. Youth can equally, you know, treat him treat him well, you know. I'm not advocating for any violence, but you can't be killing me, you can't be beating me, and at the same time depriving me from crying. I have to cry. I'm a human being. I'm not dead yet. So it looked like as if in River State, people are not existing there. What is going on? Is it not the same youth of River State that were used to blow off these pipelines? The same people. And people are not saying anything about it. Election was rigged. They were mute. Now they are fighting. They are still mute. Who am I to cry for them? You help yourself so that I will find a way to help you. Yeah?
All right. Thank you. I just
So
wanted
let me just add something quickly. Let me add something quickly. You know, we are holding Soyinka to account. He said, let's give the government 1 year.
You're right. You're right.
Do you know what he said?
You're right. You're right.
After 1 year, so that means he's in sync with what the government is doing. He said, after 1 year, if they are not doing what is right, I will call them out. So the man will die with shame, you know. And look, this idea of you can't insult your elder in Nigeria, we have to stop it. You know, there are people who, if you talk about religious leaders here, they will start crying. Look, but if they're in America, they will call Trump names. Is Trump not as old as Adeboye? You know, but we don't want to respect Trump. Biden, who is ancient of days, people don't respect him. People just call him names, you know, Sleepy Joe, and everybody will laugh. But it's people who don't deserve respect that you respect. You know, look, I'll tell you something, you know. I think we are all of us are in agreement here. Even people, these youths that you're talking about, we saw them in NSAS. NSAS was how many years ago? You know, there's cycle to everything. They can't protest this year and they get killed, and next year they will go and do it again. There has to be a leader, and that's what a leader will show up. And when people are pushed to the wall, one person could just be one who go out and say, let's do this thing. You know, we've been calling for this. People like Showore, who are, what did the people who, there was the way the Western intelligence analyzed opposition in Nigeria. I'm not sure if anybody saw that from David Hundeyin. They had a choice name for them. Nobody respects them. So they can carry that girl and go to every court. That's fine. It's an activist in that way, but it's a paid activist from the West. You know, people, when organic things will start, nobody will stop it.
All right. Thank you, Odi.
Okay. I think it's my turn now.
Yeah, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Okay. You are looking for solutions.
Yes.
Well, there are two solutions: the temporary solution and the permanent solution. The temporary solution is if there are Nigerians, and I wish there are, but there are no Nigerians. They will go on the streets and protest and go to the government house. And I don't mean just Rivers. It has to be across the whole nation, so that they would be able to reverse this unconstitutional declaration he made. But that's a temporary one, but it's not going to happen. And the reason why it will not happen is because, you know, people talked about Babangida's book. They said in that book, he said that Nigerians are badly educated. And that's where they said who, by who? The leaders, the journalists, and the influencers. Now, my understanding is that journalists will, will give what they have. So if they are badly educated, so they will give bad education to people. And influencers, if they are badly educated, they will also give bad education to the people. Now, people talk about why the Yorubas elites are not talking. Those, you see, there is something, there is what we call science of taxonomy or classification. Now, at the heart of this problem is once you classify things, you say they are different. And it has three implications, consequences. One, in terms of the ability to unite, to form a unity in as a unit. Two, inability to segregate from one another. And three, their response to the same treatment. So, whether we like it or not, we have to go back to the basis of education to understand these things, so that we can understand that even when we are talking about these symptoms, the only way to find the solution is once you diagnose the disease. For those of us, so some people who are science background will understand that there's what we call a scientific method of doing things. Now, if you don't analyze something, if you don't understand something, the reasons why or the cause of something, you will not be able to find the solution to that. So that is the reason why I still asking people like you, the intellectuals, to please get back to the basis and try to bring the kind of education that will enable people to understand that there is nothing wrong having diversity. But the only problem is that there are ways to manage diversity, and there are only two ways. Either you hybridize or you separate. But if you have a cross-pollination, just like you have in Nigeria, it becomes a contaminated product, which no one wants to buy. Okay? And once you have contaminated products, you can never, ever hybridize from it. So you have to go through surfing. Okay? And that is why I'm saying, the bigger problem we have in the future is not yet around here. It's not yet now. Because at the end of the day, once this man if this man succeeds in what he has done, the people that are coming in after him will actually, hello, am I here? Am I still on?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so the next president that will come can actually choose the governors himself, and nothing will happen. You see, that is why I'm saying that let those who think that Nigeria, is their country, should go out on the street and protest. But if you want a protest that will actually help Nigeria, it has to be organized based on ethnic nationalities. Say, like, for instance, the Yorubas will go and get their constitution, their elites, they will write their own constitution. The Igbos will go and write their own constitution. The Efik, the Jos, the Hausas, everybody go and write their own constitution. And then they will go to their state houses if they want. They don't have to take laws into their hand. They go to their different ethnic, that is the states, say like the Yorubas will go to the, say like Lagos, Ibadan, Oyo. um, all the Yoruba states start protesting with that constitution and forcing the what is it called, the state legislators to adopt that their constitution, then those in the east will have to do the same, and those in the north or the middle belt will have to do the same. And then they will give themselves their own constitution. Then after that, because any attempt for people to come together, try to remove Tinubu, it's not going to work. And the people who are saying that Soyinka, all those people that are the Yorubas that are not talking now, why would they talk? The power of unity. And I want you to go and read the article written by Professor Obiozo before he became the president, the late Professor George Obiozo, before he became the president of Ohanese, on the power of ethnicity. If you read that, you will understand why they will never talk.
All right. Thank you, Christian. Benson.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Demis, once more again. You see, those who are expecting these Yoruba people, the elders or what, to go and protest or to go and to speak out to protest, they're supposed to know that this people are cohort with what Tinubu is doing. When Buhari ruled, the Hausas were quiet, and the Buhari was giving many things to the Hausas and to the Fulanis. Today, these Yorubas believe that this is their own time to get everything they want. This is their own time. That's why they cannot talk. That's why they cannot protest. So anybody who is expecting them to protest is making a mistake. And these people also believe that there is nothing like one Nigeria. They believe that this is their own time to get something from Nigeria. So if anybody is expecting them to talk, to say anything or what, no. The Lagos State Assembly that was burning, who did the Tinubu ask to go there? It's Yoruba elders, Osoba and Co. They are the one that went to make peace. And the other former governor of Lagos State, who was speaking before Tinubu become president, it was the chief of staff and all the rest went and they begged him not to be talking. They gave him money, they gave him everything, and he stopped speaking today. So let us, we must know, we must see what is happening. Yorubas can never protest, they can never say anything. They will like what is happening. As long as Tinubu is appointing Yorubas in different positions, as long as he's building roads in Yoruba land, as long as he's doing many things for the Yoruba people, so they're okay with it. So you people can go, other tribes can go to hell. Because they said when Buhari was there, nobody, the Fulanis and they were supported, didn't say anything. Now, in the issue of, you see, there was a former governor of Rivers State before. I hear now that the Supreme Court said he must be tried. He must be probed and tried. For more than 18 years. All the years. So that is the power of Wike and the Supreme Court. Tinubu kept Wike there because of Supreme Court. Because Tinubu knows that if he goes there, he goes out. If he pushes Wike out, and the election of 2027 comes in and he loses or he wins, the Supreme Court will go against him. That's why he leave Wike. And after that 2027 election, well, or if anybody is thinking of there be a good election or Tinubu will not win, no, the person is making a mistake. Whatever happened, Tinubu is going to continue because he has all the whole machinery to do whatever he wants to do. If the Nigerians are not standing up, for those who believe there is one Nigeria, they love Nigeria. It is the time for them to stand up and fight these people. And those who are saying that, we can keep on talking. If an armed robber came to a criminal came to your house, you have to talk. You talk, the armed robber goes out. If a criminal comes to your house with a gun, then you have to be talking. Or if a criminal tells you that he's coming to your house, for you to prepare yourself is just to talk. When we talk, everything will finish. No, that's where we are making a mistake.
But now talk you the talk now. Not be talk you the talk.
As I'm talking, what is happening? Since you start talking, what has happened? All the time you have been talking. What has happened in Nigeria? No, since you have been talking in Nigeria, what has happened? You see, I believe, let me tell you, whether we want it this way or that way, want to die or we don't want to die, we want to bump the refineries or not, what Ekene said is where if that where these people are getting this money, where these people are getting these resources are cut off, you see that things will change. And if the Nigerians don't stand up, let me tell you, everybody say, hey, if you stand up, the infrastructures will be done. Let me tell you, if you destroy the infrastructure today and Nigeria gets better, one businessman in Nigeria can donate 1 or 2 or 3 infrastructures to the Nigerians. So what we want is a better. For me, I don't believe that Nigeria will be good because, like Christian said, the next president coming. When you look at what is happening now, you think that he will do the right way? No, he will still go more than what Tinubu is doing. He will go worse than what Tinubu is doing. That is where all these people are thinking. When I see somebody who said Nigeria will be good, Nigeria will be good in future, I start looking at that person. I'm looking at whether the person have a brain. Is this person really have a brain? You think Nigeria will be good in future? Let me tell you one thing, Dr. Davis, please give me a minute. You see, Dr. Please. You see, Nigeria is a cursed place. No good person, no good human being can rule Nigeria. Any good person who come to rule Nigeria, you see, they are the coup, they remove him. The way Nigeria is structured to fail. Any good person that comes today to rule Nigeria, that person will. If P2B was there and he's not doing what the military says and what the Fulani says, they will remove him. Tinubu cannot be removed because Tinubu is not even touching the Fulanis. He's not touching them. He's not doing anything against them. That's why. So if Tinubu goes against the Fulanis today, goes against the North, you will see they will remove. If Tinubu want to do something good for that other people, other Easterners and Southerners and so, mostly the Easterners and South, they will remove him. They can't remove him now. Any good person that comes to Nigeria to make Nigeria good, they will remove him. They will kill him. So that's what all of us should understand. So anybody who having the notion that Nigeria will be good in future is making a mistake. Look at where they are going. They have divided the South and Southeast. They have divided South and South. That's why they are treating the South and Southeast the way they are treating them. Anything you see in the South, in the North, you see at the end of the day, they'll pedal. They soft pedal. They will not go far. They will soft pedal. But in the South and Southeast, they will do whatever they want because these people are nonsense. These people are nothing. That's why they do whatever they like in the South and the South. If the South and the Southeast were to get up to today, my brother, it can't be happening. But because they believe that we are nothing, that's why they do what they are doing. And it will continue like that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Benson.
Rudolph, can you put me in the backstage for a minute?
All right. We will hear from AY and then we have another 25 minutes to just touch on this youth corporate thing. AY.
Oh, thank you, Rudolph. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I've been listening for a while. What is going on in Nigeria is just a sad day, to be honest. President Tinubu, I think he's making a very big mistake of his life. Yesterday, I was having this discussion with some people. First of all, because of the greed of one man, a state is going down. A state you claim to be your state. A state you govern. If you so much love the state so much, you would allow peace to reign. Tinubu, I don't know what he does not understand in Nigeria at this point. I have said it. I was saying it yesterday. Rivers State is the most corrosive state in the country. The resources, majority resources of this country are in this state. You are pushing a governor out. Whatever happened, you got to look for some kind of solutions. Look at the problem they've caused now. And I don't know, nobody knows how this problem is going to end. The best thing I think the Tinubu would have done before yesterday was to call Wike, allow the governor and the House of Assembly to work together, stay away. If anything, if you have the political cloud, wait till 2027, campaign against the governor and get him removed. You did do that, you know. I don't know what he's trying to achieve at this point. it's just sad. The people, like some people rightly said, yeah, the people are gonna suffer. Wike children, either they are somewhere in abroad, like somebody said, or they are somewhere protected by the military. Fubara children too, they are not gonna involve in all these crises. It's just sad that it's a big mistake. I can tell you this for free. Even with the military taking over the whole of rivers, these boys, you will hear discourse till next week. They are gonna blow up all these pipelines. Even if you have to get them arrested, you will only keep them for a while. The damage has been done. Like they need to ask Buhari when Niger Delta militants started blowing up pipeline. Production is gonna drop drastically. You know, the pulse of the country is gonna suffer. The money we don't have, so we gotta keep crying. I don't know what Tinubu is gonna achieve from this. I don't know what Wike want to achieve from this. His greed is becoming too much. When I listen to that guy talk, like he behaved as if he will live forever. To be honest, he behaved. Who does he think he is, though? I really don't understand what is going on in our country. Wike is like impunity. When Wike was governor of Rivers State, you dare not say anything. The House of Assembly is talking about. We're just he is the governor. He was the speaker. He was the judge. Wike have control over everything. Allow somebody to rule. I saw when Show was play some videos. That is how he talks. He's gonna, once I leave office, I'm not gonna come here. I don't have anything to do with. Like he just talk anyhow, and I don't. Why people even listen to him? To me, he sound like somebody that is not normal to me because he say one thing today, he's doing another thing the next day. So I think I will employ Rivers people. They should keep resisting. They should resist whatever is going to happen in Rivers. They should resist it. I mean, not violently. I don't want people to die, but resist. It's your state. Protect it. This is just too much, to be honest. And I think Tinubu himself is going to regret this. I think he made a big mistake. He's going to regret this if he's not careful. The only way now is to look for how to get this resolved within the next 1-2 weeks and get the state back on track. Otherwise, he's going to regret it. This Ijaw boys they are going to fight because this is the first governor coming from the Ijaw tribe. They are going to fight. They're not going to let this go down like that. Trust me, they are going to fight. So it just sad. That's what I just have to contribute for now.
All right, thank you, White. Let me just say that in the news, the government of Tinubu is saying that they consulted the National Assembly before they made this decision. We don't know how true that is, but that's what they're saying. It's condemned. The move has been condemned by lawyers, by opposition leaders, and but of course, the president is standing by that decision. All right, let's move a little bit because we have about 20 minutes to round up this. A lot of people mentioned the issue of the youth copper who made a video that actually went viral. And let's
let me add my 30 seconds and
I feel like if
okay, hold on, let me just play a little bit
start speaking on what we are actually going through, then maybe changes will be made in the government, don't you guys think? And this video, I just want to say to our president, I don't know if there have been any other president that is terrible, but you are such a terrible president. It is so hard. So I'm coming from the supermarket where I went to get foodstuffs and everything has gone up again. It's just like every single week prices increase. I want to know, what is the government doing about this increment? Is there going to be a particular time where prices will stop going up? Is there going to be a particular time where things are going to go back? Guys, why am I going to get a crate of egg and they're telling me it is 6.5? It doesn't make any sense that egg will cost 6.5. Like, I literally can't remember when egg used to cost 800. And I'm so overwhelmed because this is literally my first time doing this adulthood thing alone. This is my first time moving out of my family house. this is my first time living by myself, and not just that, after I left the supermarket and I got home, my security is bringing NEPA bill, and NEPA bill has gone up by 2 times. Like, it's insane. I can't keep up with this news. I am so overwhelmed, and
All right, I guess by now most of you have seen this video. It's not something that you don't know about. So let's hear your comments.
Things. Lagos smells like shit. If you say, okay, I want to take a walk,
all right.
So damages. You see, I applaud this beautiful young Nigerian lady for expressing her frustration. You see, we have Nigerian youth, majority of Nigerian youth, and the so-called content creators and the Yeye British, all of them, no exception, because there is no celebrity in Nigeria. They are all Yeye people. All of them put together are such terrible people, not just Tinubu, because the only thing you see them doing with their phones, their smartphones, is to come on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and is either they are twerking, or they are showing their nyash, or they are showing their bum bum, or they are acting like zombies, right? That's the only thing they do. But you see a young girl using her small data to call out a very useless government. So we don't have just Tinubu and the Senate and the House members, the governors, politicians as the only terrible people. The majority of Nigerian youth, the content creators, the Yeye British, the so-called activists, right? I don't want to mention them specifically, but all of them are such a terrible people, right? So I would like to add to what she said, that Lagos is smelling. Yeah, Lagos is smelling. I know that long ago. And Lagos will never cease to smell, right? In as much as somebody built Lagos. But Lagos is not the only place smelling in Nigeria. The entire of Nigeria, including my village, is smelling. Everywhere is smelling. From bad roads, from not having electricity, from not having water, from not having jobs, to just hunger, everything. Nigeria is smelling. The entire country is oozing very bad odor, right? Now, we have a country where we have bootlickers. A woman calling a girl that is as old as her daughter to threaten her to take down video. Take down which video? Chris? Take down which video? For what? And you threaten the young girl? And I heard that all these APC rats are threatening the life of this girl. So her life is in danger as we are talking, as we are having this conversation now. So I don't know what to do. I'm handicapped. I can't do anything. But I wish just wishes are horses, you know. And some people would just be smelling 6 feet. But you know, we can't do anything. Nigeria is gone. Nigeria, see, I'm tired with Nigeria. For you guys that want to be disturbing yourself, like AY said here, that if Tinubu loves Nigeria or if Tinubu loves River State people, he should do the right thing. Who told you that Tinubu has love in his heart in the first place? Tinubu only loves his family. He don't send anybody, Papa, in that country. He don't send you. If you like, hunger kill you. Tinubu doesn't care, right? All he cares for is to remain in Aso Rock. And that is why he will send his imbecilic son, Sheyi, to go to the north and begin to share rice to them as if they are all beggars in the north. He's sharing rice so that they will come and vote for your useless father. See, my people, thank you, everyone. Bye. So you muted yourself.
Oh, let's see, where do we go next? Ike, I think you are next.
It's part of the thing we are saying. It's quite unfortunate the country we have become, where people cannot express themselves. But I would have wished if one of your moderators is here, KJ, because the first day this news came out, the first thing he did for us here was to read us NYSC rule or law. That was the first thing, even before we go into discussing this. He first gave us the reading of what the law says about NYSC. I didn't go to NYSC, so I cannot to say anything because I did not go to university. So who am I to discuss and argue with KJ, my brother? But from that day till today, it has been rebuffed in so many quarters of what he was saying. So listen, I don't know how when somebody expresses himself about the condition of the country, it becomes a crime. It becomes somebody to say he should face capital punishment. A whole media advisor to the president of a country is recommending a capital punishment for somebody to say that things are costly in the market. Is it a fake news? It's real. It's something we obtain every day. We have families. We have friends. We send money to Nigeria almost every month. You send $200 today. Tomorrow they will tell you, no, uncle, it's no more. You cannot get it at $200 now. It's not 350. It's something that happens almost every 15, 24 hours. So what is so bad about the youngest? They're saying it's mine. But I think that Nigerians, I think the reaction of Nigerians, I was happy. And I was really encouraged by what Nigerians did by coming out in support of the young girl, because I don't see why somebody that is serving his fatherland is complaining about the economic situation that she is facing as a young girl who has, for the first time, leave his family house to go live alone, right? She decided not one of the young girls who sell themselves for money, but she is trying to tell you what is going on in her life. And I don't know how it should become a crime. So I think that, Dr. Damages, this country this country has gone out of the wheel, and we are in a situation whereby you can say anything, you can do anything. They have taken over everything. They have taken over the news media. They want to take over the internet. They want to silence everybody. You can say nothing. You don't do nothing. Just when they tell you go, you go. When they tell you come, you come. And that's the only way we can find peace in Nigeria. But I thank God that even in the midst of all this, some people are speaking their mind. And I think this young girl needs to be protected. She needs to be encouraged because, like Kenneth said, what he was said, what I wanted to say. Well, the Nigerian young boys and girls, what they do is to tweak on the internet, because they are following their aunties and their mothers in the Nollywood. Everybody, there is no moral example from the so-called Nollywood sisters who are into Nollywood. They've just turned their life into something else, and most of our younger ones are copying and trying to be like them. And at the end of the day, the society is almost getting off our hands. So I just pray that this girl, nothing happens to her, and I believe that it's a good thing that she spoke her mind. Thank you, Dr. Damages, and God bless every one of us.
All right, thank you, Ike. Kristen, you're next.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just as aware of parting. It's bad education. I keep on saying it, that makes people to think that free speech or in a democratic country is not permitted. But in any case, like I said, the only thing I will employ people like you who are influencers, who are journalists, who are intellectuals, is to help us to try to re-educate the masses living in that territory called Nigeria, so that they will be able to understand what the problems are, and then the best way to solve the problem. Because no matter how we talk about it this day, it's the Africans or the black race will never develop if they continue to insist on this status quo or whatever, or just keeping all this thing that the Europeans gave them in terms of culture, in terms of education, and in terms of governance. you know. So we need to, you people have a whole lot of work to do. So that's why I actually came in to ask people like you to please bring people like Dele Ogun. Yeah, I know you the last time you brought him, and then you bring more people who understands what the problems are. The more we push the problem and the solutions, the more people understands. So that's what I'm here for. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. We try our best. Let me just point before I come to your wife for the final say. Let me point out that we're getting to see more stories about the man who is now going to take charge of River State. There's this story of the former naval chief, Ibokette Ibas. He had this story came out in 2000. He locked up someone, a military officer, assistant director of procurement in the defense and intelligence agency, for writing a report against him, a petition against him. So he accused Ibas of corruption, abuse of office, and employment of state powers to pursue personal vendetta. Interesting. So
very interesting.
It's not just that Tinubu removed the governor, but the person that they chose is a person that obviously is a right-hand man, not just of Wike, but someone who, from all the reports we are seeing now, behaves like Wike. All right, AY.
Yeah, I saw some of those pictures before. Obviously, it's Wike that actually chose that man. Obviously, it's sad. I think the people need to fight. As regard the youth copper, I don't even know why people are bashing that young girl. To be honest, she never said anything wrong. The truth is, when you pay people 33,000 naira with the high cost of living in Nigeria, how do you really expect them to survive? I was having discussed with my friend in Abuja yesterday. He said some of his sober trip, just a single trip, is like 25,000 naira. So, I mean, even if you are not taking Uber, I know how expensive Lagos can be. It depends on where you walk in. I mean, let's say average on a day, you spend 2,000 naira on transport. So you are gonna feed. You are gonna sometimes they don't even have where to stay. So she just speaking her mind. She's frustrated. Even me that is here, when I hear the cost of living in Nigeria, despite I can afford it, but I get frustrated. My question is, how do people survive? I know I've asked my mom that question, like, how do people survive? It is a big question. Trust me, it's a genuine question, because when I was in university, like we used to have, no matter how poor you are, there are food you can make easily. You can cook beans, put only onion, adoye, salt, beans, food is ready. Bread was cheap. You can go buy bread 5 naira, 10 naira. But today, there is no cheap food in Nigeria. Gari was cheap, was easy for everybody to afford. But today, those food are not even cheap. So how do you? It's a genuine question. So any responsible government was supposed to give that young girl an answer. As regard the NYC official that are harassing her, NYC, they are part of the criminal gang. They get money. They will not make food for coppers. They are part of the criminal gang. I don't even know how, because I'm doing youth copper, why should you monitor my life? If I'm in camp, if it has anything to do with NYC, that's different. Why are you monitoring her life? Why are you threatening her? I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. She didn't offend anybody. She just speaking her mind. She's a citizen of the country. I think they should give them an answer. I mean, these are Gen Z. They're never going to keep quiet. Trust me. They will keep speaking up. It is just the right thing to do. I mean, as long as she's not doing anybody, she's not harming anybody, she's just speaking her mind. It is a problem. And majority of the youth copper, the they share her sentiment. You know, majority of the people in the country share her sentiment. Cost of living is high. You got to call it what it is. You know, you got to call it what it is and look for a way to resolve it. You know, the workers, the workforce, people are crying. Money is not enough. You know, when you look at Nigeria now, you look at the cost of living. I'm sure even if you are collecting $500,000 in Nigeria, you are going to manage. You are going to struggle to get. Let's say you have like family of 5. You are going to struggle because it's not going to be enough. You have children to pay their tuition. You have other expenses, food, rent. It's a lot for people, to be honest. So they should leave her alone, Joe. Thank you.
Thank you, AY. Thank you so much. I did my youth service. I didn't know that you were not allowed to criticize the government when you are a member of the youth.
Is it part of the law?
I didn't know. When I was there, nobody told us. I was writing things. I didn't, but maybe it's a new thing, and they're emphasizing on that.
But she's not criticizing the government. She is speaking about the hardship of the government.
Yeah, that's how they are seeing it. But I don't think I knew anything like that. But anyway, that's the way it is. We have to end it here. What will happen is that if there's any need for us to come back tomorrow or next tomorrow, we will. And,
okay.
Yeah. So we're not going to wait until Saturday if things are developing in certain direction. But that's the best I can do for today. Thank you, everybody who joined us. Thank you, Ike. Thank you, AY. And those who supported us, Team Ajek, CCO. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. Zito, thank you so much. All right. We'll be right back anytime there is an emergency, or I will see you guys on Saturday and Sunday.
AY, don't go looking for that girl. Make sure that
it smells like crazy. Why does an entire state smell like this? And what is the government doing about the bad smell? Everything is just so overwhelming. You want to start up a business, and now you have to take a loan to start up a business, and the loan, you don't even know if you can actually repay it because the business, I don't know, I'm just so tired. Like, why is no one saying anything about it? Being an NYSC copper, there's nothing beneficial about this whole NYSC thing. The money I spend on transportation is just more than the alawi the government gives me. Like, it doesn't, I can't keep up. Like, I'm so tired of this bill and I can't keep up. I am overwhelmed and I'm tired, I'm exhausted. It's too much, and I wish that we would start calling the government out heads on. For example, Tinubu, you are a terrible president. Like, what are you doing to help us? What are you doing to help the economy? You are so terrible. I'm so sick and tired of